Welcome to Lorehammer, Episode 15, The Minor Xenos Races, Part 1.
Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
And I'm Jordan.
And I'm Mark.
Losers. All right. Joining us today, again, from Blast from the Past, is Peter. How you doing?
Hello. Yes. Glad to be here. Glad to be back.
So how's your campaign for the Eldar becoming great again? Is that going good for you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am more on the Eldar train than ever before.
That would be for 2020, of course,
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. Eldar for U.S. President 2020.
U.S. President 2020. Going up against Kanye.
Yeah.
The
obviously.
Rock.
The Rock, yeah. Possible, who's the owner of Facebook?
What? Mark Zuckerberg?
Right, yeah. Like, he's definitely angling for the presidency. Like, let's be honest.
Why would the Eldar go through the democratic process and not just conquer?
They at least good point. They probably just view us. I don't know. I feel like the Eldar wouldn't really be ones to judge.
What? They're the most judgmental ever.
I know, but of us though, like our actions are so small. They'd be like, "Oh, this dumb race."
No, they'd be like those filthy Monkai. Soon in 28,000 years, they're gonna do this thing called the Great Crusade. They're gonna fuck over the galaxy.
They'll burn it.
Yeah,
even sooner than that, they're gonna unleash AI on everything.
That's why they gotta run for president now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's a secret. It's a conspiracy. It's not even a theory. It's a conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top of the Eldar race. Any changes to our previous episode? Our Cicatrix Maledictum. We kind of ended on what the current state and the affairs of the galaxy are. I don't believe there's anything we need to change.
I don't know.
Has anything come through from late Christian? Our friend, may he rest. May he rest in pieces.
The late but not so great.
Right, exactly. That was his last episode.
I just looked on Facebook and he posted, "I'm done with Star Wars."
The Star Wars thing,
and
right?
What did you say? You're like,
well, he hasn't even seen
Christian,
the movie.
You're the worst. It's like,
okay, so
he's like one of those people who reads a headline on Facebook and criticizes it without reading the article.
So he commented like, "I'm done with Star Wars," and it's like, oh, like maybe he saw the movie and it was absolutely trash. And then his wife comments underneath it like, he hasn't even seen the movie, and I'm like, Christian, you're the worst. So bad.
I just said good thing we're 40K guys. That's all.
And then you went and watched Ultramarines.
I think he's maybe he's just trying to prime people to not like it, like before they even watch it.
Well, like,
it's the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
Me and him were talking about it today, and it sounds bad. Like, he was telling me a bunch of spoilers from it, and
wow. Spoiler alert. Don't give
no, I'm
anything away.
not saying anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's bad. Star Wars is awful. It's the worst
Oh
franchise.
my gosh. You love it so much.
No, I've never liked Star
You
Wars.
are the biggest fanboy for Mandalorians that has ever
Mandalorians
existed.
and Clone Troopers. Those are the only good
They
things
are
that have
in
come.
Star Wars. You can't have Mandalorians and Clone Troopers without Star Wars.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was thinking with the movie coming out again that you would probably be getting the itch to play a role-playing game set in the Star Wars universe again.
Yeah. You know what?
It comes around every 2 years now.
He does that.
Yeah.
My favorite RPG that we done was that Star Wars one.
Yeah.
I think it always will be.
Yeah, I like the
good.
freedom of it.
Yeah.
Maybe not like the story.
alright.
Maybe the campaign wasn't the greatest we ever did.
No.
But I like the freedom
Yeah.
of the game. That
Yeah.
was really cool.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, I just hate GMing for people like you.
For people like me.
Yeah,
What did I do?
but that's besides the point. Let's go back to our 40K podcast. Yeah,
I'm on a Star Wars
You want to
guy
be Star
now.
Wars guy? Okay,
Yeah.
you can be.
Well,
Star Wars guy.
no. I do not want to be a Star Wars guy. I just want to rage at Star Wars.
You just have a lot of anger. You need a different hobby to let out the rage.
40K just makes me angry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no fun time there. So Peter,
Hello.
you've been listening to our podcast.
Yes.
Intermittently, on and off. How religiously we talking here?
Yeah. Well,
3 times, 4 times an episode.
Knowing
He
that I was
bought
gonna,
the T-shirt.
knowing I was coming back, I made sure to catch up a little bit.
So after we
He's
asked
why
you.
our episode spiked.
Yeah,
this
that's
morning.
right.
That's
So
right.
why is there such a large download content recently? All from him.
Yeah.
So what? Okay. So what has been your favorite episode?
Well, obviously the Eldar one that I was on.
That you were on. Okay.
I've listened to that several times now. Religiously.
Showed your wife.
Yeah,
showed
that's
your
right.
kids.
I just have it
Look,
playing in the
Daddy's famous.
background at my house.
Just through like the intercom system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
you cut out all of our voices. It's just your voice in it.
I just repeat my favorite lines
Yeah.
of myself.
He puts it in like the cassette player and then sleeps with it on. It's like Peter.
Can't blame him.
Eldar for 2020.
No, I was just listening to the episode where you had Tim on.
Yeah.
You guys were
Oh, the
talking
chaos.
about painting models at the beginning, which I think is really interesting because I suck at
Join
any
the
of
club.
that.
Yep.
And it was cool to hear about Tim who doesn't suck at that. So that was interesting to me.
Yeah. What has been like one of the worst things, or what do you not like about our podcast? This is your time for constructive criticism. Lay it all out. I can take anything. I am not sensitive about this at all.
I am a rage monster.
I'm gonna cry probably if he says anything bad.
Well, we know it's Christian already.
The worst part is Christian.
Cut him out.
No, I think there's sometimes where you guys go a little insane. You say things that make me a little cringy. There's a lot of cringing when I'm listening at times and going.
yes.
I'm also picturing Mark's mom listening to the podcast. So
Oh boy.
Yeah, you guys could cringe together probably. I'm just saying,
They're just ensuring they don't have a future career in politics. That's all.
Right,
that's
yeah,
true.
that's all we're
That's
doing.
true.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. Seems like you don't really have to be a good citizen to be a politician.
Shots fired.
Political take.
Such a new thing.
So brave.
Guys, I've just discovered this new thing called politics. You guys want to hear?
You guys want to hear about it?
Want to hear about some politics?
Peter, tell us something that you've learned from listening to our podcasts.
Well, I think I told this to Mark before, but way back, like years ago, I actually went looking for a podcast for the lore of 40K. Back when we were playing one of our first, like,
made this for you.
40K pen and paper kind of RPGs.
Oh, like Deathwatch.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because I didn't know anything about anything, and I was trying to
And you were
understand-
DMing.
No, I was never DMing.
You
that game.
DM'd it.
Mark was.
Okay.
But Mark would throw out like a Carnifex, and I wouldn't know what it was, and so
And that
I
was
would-
why he tried to attack it.
I charged it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that you should be scared of that. So I was trying to learn, and I just couldn't find a lot. I actually ended up listening to like an Australian podcast which is very much like this. Friends rambling on and on. Not talking about 40K very much. We're talking about other things. So. But no, I've learned a lot. The stuff I like is like all about the chaos gods that you guys talked about early on. Where you like focus on the different races, like the orcs, which I didn't know much about. So it's cool to hear you guys talking with Frankie when you had him in. The Eldar, I learned a
Obviously.
lot for that episode.
It helps when you have to do your own research.
That's right. I wanted to be making sure I wasn't saying untrue things.
It was funny on Saturday when you came over, and I just painted my Nid army, and Eric was looking at it, and he picked up the Carnifex. He's like, "Peter, this is a Carnifex," and then Peter's like, "I would not have charged that." If
Right,
I knew
yeah,
that's what-
exactly.
I
If that was the mental image I had,
I would not have charged that.
Peter's
Right.
picturing like puppy size, maybe got some spikes on it or something.
right.
Yeah.
It was good. I enjoyed
Well,
it.
that is good to know, obviously. We like to know that some people are actually gaining something from our podcast. Even if you're just lying completely, that's totally fine. I accept.
Well, he was reading off the script that we gave him.
Yeah. Shh. Don't tell them that. It's
I
all
just read
scripted.
everything written down, and it.
Mark is good and very smart. Mark can read.
Don't lie. I was going to say, Mark can't write that. Well, I guess this is going to be a bit of a doozy of an episode. really long.
It's gonna be.
episode.
I'm so excited for this.
It actually was pretty cool. I've just for the research for myself, I learned a lot.
Yeah, you probably learned about 50 different things.
Yeah, I learned like this was like 95% new to me.
Yeah,
all
it
of
is good.
these.
Yeah.
So which is really really cool.
I'm sure it's gonna be the same percentage for a bunch of people. Like even me, like
yeah,
the great and mighty Mark.
Well, whoa, yeah. Don't humble yourself too much.
You know, the master of 40K.
Oh boy. Any more titles?
Marcus Aurelius Cornelius Maximus.
That's not a title. It's just a name you gave yourself. Okay. But for this episode, we're literally going through a list of the minor Xenos races of the galaxy.
Word for word off of Lexicanum.
False.
So if
But
you
it is
want
right
to
off
follow
Lexicanum.
along,
Yeah. Literally just Lexicanum list of sentient species.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. We're just kind of giving our own spin to it, I guess. But we're doing it alphabetically, and we're going through...
much to the protest of other people.
He who shall not be named. And if you're listening, I'm more than waiting for your podcast. Christian! Okay.
Filthy.
Well, I think without further ado, let's get this started. And right at the top of the list, we have a race called the Ak-Hyreth.
Oh, before we get into it.
Yeah, please, Mark, please ruin the flow again.
I just want to talk some more about politics.
It's like the 4th episode in a row you've done this. Oh, before you do something.
Yeah. Even though like we have it written down.
Yep. No, do what you want.
I just wanted to say like 40K is a massive universe, and there's tons of things that like we're going through all these minor Xenos races that just really help build the universe. So it's not just like there's just orcs and Eldar and that's all there is in the galaxy. I just wanna point out that 40K is massive.
And diverse?
No,
Is
definitely.
Very diverse.
That's that what you're going for?
Much inclusion.
What's the buzzword we're trying to hit here? Like we have our quota of words.
It's very multicultural.
Perfect. We've hit them all now. Now let's get back to our
There's only
podcast.
one culture in 40K, and that's war.
That's death.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and it's just, that's all. There's a lot of Xenos.
There are. And
So, like, yeah, and like
even what we list here is not every race in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because there are many, many different species
Yeah.
that have yet to be even discovered. Or if they have been seen, like they haven't been like chronicled.
Yeah.
With the Imperium.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So-
just when we were going through this list and stuff, I was just thinking like, oh, how would I represent this race on tabletop? Or like in an RPG, this would be cool to come across. Like,
Yeah,
it just
definitely.
it really fleshes out the universe. And I encourage people when they're listening to us describe these, to go online and Google image them. And then try to find miniatures, then send me links to those miniatures so I can buy those miniatures so I can have more variety in my
Yeah.
40K.
Perfect.
That's all.
Someone do all of Mark's work for him.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Really, there needs to be a lot more fan art for some of these minor races because they're not represented right now.
And let's put one clarification on the fan art: fully clothed, because usually fan art is.
You're
subject
thinking
to-
of DeviantArt, aren't
Oh,
you?
I don't know.
Is that a website? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
okay.
DeviantArt is like a deviation from the
I thought it meant
original.
it was
I just don't want
No, no.
anime.
Rule 34.
Rule 34. Yeah,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to avoid.
Keep it PG.
Well,
So you're
Mark's mom, don't Google that.
because we'll tell you what it is right now. Rule 34.
okay. That's a good point, though. Just the fact that it really is massive, and it's this area where if you're making up a story in 40K, you could use one of these guys,
Yeah,
or you can use
don't
something
always
you
have
completely
to be.
make up.
Yeah, you don't always have to be fighting orcs.
Yeah.
There's tons of other.
Maybe
things
you
to
can
go.
fight the Arakan or the Antidil.
Tell me what the Arakan is.
All right, well, let's start then. The Ak-Hyreth. This is a parasitic life form. They would leech onto their hosts and drink the bone marrow. And I believe they would even go through the ceramite the adamantium on the power armor. Like they
Yeah.
would go through it. And they would like latch themselves onto like the Space Marines' arms and like try and suck their like insides out. Yeah, they're now extinct because the Alpha Legion and Alfarius.
Or xenophobic. Let me guess.
Well, just a little teensy weensy bit.
or they don't like parasites sucking from their skin.
no,
Right.
it has nothing to do with that.
They can live with that. They're Space
Oh,
Marines.
yeah.
They'll be fine. They just don't like them because they're aliens.
Oh,
It's a clash of cultures.
They just couldn't coexist. But they were destroyed with a deadly biological weapon, and they are now completely extinct as to our knowledge. So it's a little bit of a theme you'll see when it comes to contact with humans in the galaxy.
I don't know if this is going to be true with many of these races, but it is kind of funny on Lexicanum. The only source for this race is pages 102 and 103 of the Horus Heresy book.
You'll find that's
like
pretty
the only
common.
reference.
For sure.
In all of it. So
Yeah.
But they do seem pretty cool. I mean, they're basically psychic mold that infests entire ships and weren't easy to be taken out.
No, like they had to use like a biological weapon, right? Like it had to destroy life on like the most basic form, but in order to kill them, couldn't just like use fire or guns or anything. Like I'm pretty sure they had to use something that was definitely sanctioned. Let's be honest, right? Like they're going nuts on this, but yeah, that one's pretty cool. All right, Mark.
The Antidil. How about you say the race's name?
All right.
And then I'll make up the rest
it looks
of the
like
words.
Antidil.
Yeah, Antidil is what I would say.
I can't read. Okay, so these are, we don't have too much information. They're not that big. They're about the size of a hand. So
An Astartes hand,
sure.
which is bigger than yours.
So Shaq's hand.
Right, exactly. Shaquille O'Neal's hand.
Yeah.
Everyone pull out your Shaquille O'Neal hand measure. That is how big the Antidil is. That is how the Antidil do.
And they look like a seven-fingered hand with no thumb. So kind of like, yeah.
It makes me think of like a starfish.
Yeah,
kind
or
of.
I almost think of like a face hugger from Alien.
Yeah.
Like that
Okay.
kind of. Yeah, almost. I don't know. Just,
Sure.
yeah. And what's interesting about them is they got the ability, they're a psychic creature, and they're so powerful that not even Primarchs can like block them.
Yeah.
So like,
Which is odd
I
because
think-
physically,
Yeah.
they are pathetic.
Yeah. So I think there's a story with Primarch like kind of getting not completely controlled, but like definitely
Manipulated?
manipulated. Yeah, not like full on like control, but definitely
Right.
manipulated psychically. And their home planet, their gravity field was way too high to further their physical evolution. That's why they're super small. And I guess they live in like floating orbs or something.
When they're off planet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Kind of
like
their spaceships are like these floating orbs.
it has to like mimic the atmosphere and like the conditions of like their home planet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because
Right.
their planet was such a high gravity that
Right,
they have to have
exactly.
this self-contained like orb with the same.
Exactly. So they have to like make sure like the correct like atmosphere is there
Right,
and the correct gravitational pull.
pH levels are in it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not too acidic, not too basic, you know. Yeah.
So it's a bunch of floating hands.
Yes.
The size of an Astartes hand,
Yeah.
floating around in little orbs
That control your brain.
that you need to kill.
But super powerful psychers. Like crazy powerful. Like could you imagine like stronger than Magnus?
I don't know if that's the case.
I mean, hey, I'm saying that it's all it says is that a psychic ability not even a Primarch can block. But the question is like, is it comparing it to Angron or is
Yeah.
it comparing it to Magnus?
yeah,
Right.
There is.
I would say Magnus is probably above things like that, but you never know.
I would hope so.
I hope so.
He did nothing wrong.
Magnus, my boy, my poor boy. If ever there's one you want to step in on, Peter, just let me know.
Yeah, no, it's good. Floating hands, floating psychic hands, and psychic mold.
So how would you represent that model on the tabletop? Are you looking up images for me, or?
It
Yeah,
just
there's not a lot out there for the hand people.
the hand people. The next one on our list is the Arakan or the Arakan, depending on where you decide to put the accent on that. They are noted for having blade-like legs.
On the men.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to learn something, I think.
Well, women are used for only breeding, as is their place in all societies.
Right.
I'm cringing right now.
There it is. That's all I had to do. I just had to make Peter cringe once, and
Now we can continue the episode.
yeah.
As well as they have different evolutionary forms with different purposes. This is also another common theme that we'll see with races in the galaxy, especially because it makes complete sense through like evolutionary form. And we even can see it on some things like through our things on Earth about how you have different like ants like with
Right,
different
yeah,
roles,
that's what
or
I was
like
thinking, too.
bees, like a lot of
Ants
things
or
where they
bees.
have like a hive or a swarm. Things have developed to do certain tasks.
Yeah, like
and
men
fulfill
are
roles.
fighters and women are birthers.
Okay. Okay, so these are the different kinds of Arakan that they have listed. It's the Ostromystics, I think is how I pronounce that. They laid traps for victims and then laid eggs in them.
In the traps or in the victims?
In the victims.
Oh.
So like you'd like get your foot stuck in web and be like, what do? And then along comes a little Arakan and just opens your mouth and lays some eggs. Yes.
Right in the mouth.
Right in the mouth. There were ones called grandfathers, which is so weird. Like you go from like Ostromystics to grandfathers.
Grandfather.
These were giant Arakan capable of ripping enemies to pieces. And then you have the Skitterlings. And what's described about them...
And also that's a name that doesn't fit, like...
Right. They feel so out of place
Yeah.
compared to each other, right?
Yeah.
And the Skitterlings could get inside a Tau battlesuit and eat the Tau from the inside out. Pretty cool. Which means they're tiny, though. Right? Like, you have grandfathers, which are large and could rip enemies to pieces.
Right.
And then Skitterlings, which could infiltrate inside, like, a pretty much sealed suit.
Yeah.
So they must be chewing through something, but still, like, they would be small.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were found because they fought the Tau after refusing to join the greater good because they realized what it really was during the second sphere of expansion. And then what else is known about them is that they fly through space in cocoon ships. So probably a little biological thing, kind of reminiscent of the Tyranid.
Yeah,
that
there's
way.
a lot of bug-like aliens, which I like.
Yeah.
Like, bugs are hardy and
Yep.
numerous.
Yep.
They got bug-like qualities.
Yeah. And another thing about them that's mentioned is their cities are built like mages, and the Tau actually...
Mazes, yeah.
Yes, sorry, mages. They're built like magic wielders. No, they're built like mazes, and the Tau actually resorted... It was like a really brutal guerrilla warfare as they were fighting or something. And from this, they don't really describe like how they look, but we just assume they're bug-like.
They got to be spider people, right?
Right. Like that's what what I get the
they
picture
lay
of.
eggs. There's weird cocoons and traps for their victims. These are spider people.
I mean,
skitterlings.
I don't think spiders do cocoons.
How do they wrap up their victim?
That's like, but a cocoon is like something you put yourself in.
Yeah, but come on.
Like a butterfly does a cocoon.
Yes, no, I hear what you're saying.
Right.
And yet, like a spider trapping a fly
Yeah.
in a trap
Right.
of a web that it's made.
That's a good point.
right. And they're
And-
called Arakan. Like
I don't
arachnids.
see the connection there. It goes above me.
I also like that these are like Xenos that just the Tau have as an enemy. It feels like a very like comic book villain kind of a thing, where you have like a villain that only fights like one superhero,
Right.
And he like never goes and fights
Well, he
the
doesn't
other
care, right.
superheroes that are in New York City. He just fights that one guy, and it's kind of like that for 40K.
A lot of it is I think there's a good rationale, and it's just the fact that like not a lot of races are as spacefaring as everyone else. Like the human and the Eldar and the Orc, like being all over the galaxy, that's like 3 out of hundreds, right? Like that's what it is everyone gets their small area. Like even the Tau Empire, minuscule.
Should I go on another rant about that?
No, because the next one we're doing is the Argonauts.
Okay.
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Try and Google a picture of that. I want to see
What number is it?
Argonite?
Argonite is not a Pokemon, but doesn't it sound like a Pokemon?
Oh,
It's not. I'm sorry.
You had
it's
me
not.
settled. I thought it, I
Well,
thought
there's
it
a
was
lot
like
of Pokemon out there.
I thought it
but
was a rock.
Oh, I thought it was a
first.
dragon type Pokemon.
You know what?
It's Rock Dragon. That's,
Rock Dragon.
That's its type.
So the Argonite was discovered by a rogue trader named Argonite.
Surprise.
And
Wow.
he's like, you know what? I'm going to name this entire race after myself. So he probably would be a very modest guy out of
Yeah.
Except, did he ever get to see them? Because it would appear that nobody could really tell you what an Argonite
Hey,
looks
yeah.
like. Because he found that it's like abandoned spaceships belonging to the Argonite.
Yeah, and like they don't know where their homeworld is. Like, So yeah, we
Yeah,
don't-
there's nothing that says like, hey, this is what an Argonite looks like.
It looks exactly like the Rogue Trader Argonite.
He's just making up a story.
Yeah.
He just took
They
a
were
photo of
really
himself.
scary. Yeah, I fought them off. There's not a lot that's known about them.
What I like about them is they use a weapon that's called the Argonite Whistler. And what's cool about it is it's a sonic weapon. And I just love the idea of noise weaponry.
Yeah,
Like it
that's
just-
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just like you can't see anything, and everything just starts like blowing apart.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, boom, the brown note.
yeah,
And it's just-
of course. That would be the next thing to go to, obviously.
Yeah, and they have this weird thing where their ships were all a singular color.
Yeah, monochromatic.
Yeah, so
A lot of, I think that's assumed then in the talk is that like their vision like works on a different spectrum than ours, most likely.
which seems like a big leap to me.
Right. No, that's exactly
But-
what I thought. I was like, or they just like that one color.
Right.
And like that material comes in that
Everything
color.
was gray.
Right,
Steel
yeah.
metal gray.
Exactly. We don't see
They
the
must
need to
have
paint everything
different
else.
vision than we have.
no, they just don't waste time painting their ships.
You can go sit in the blue chair
They don't waste time painting their chairs either.
or wasting their precious resources.
But yeah, it seems weird to me that it doesn't say much about the Argonite. It says
It
these
doesn't.
abandoned spaceships.
Were they abandoned?
I don't know. He found
I-
an empty spaceship. Yeah, abandoned ship.
Okay, it does say derelict vessels drifting through space.
Right, and then on that, it would appear that you find this sonic screwdriver of a weapon,
Yeah.
the Argonite Whistler. But it doesn't say anything about the Argonites themselves. So maybe there's
maybe
more that's
he's-
known, but it's not listed there. It doesn't say
True,
much.
true.
Other than monochromatic ships.
Man, it's funny. Like in my brain, like I just had a completely different idea of like, oh yeah, like drifted through space. Like he probably killed one or two.
But yeah, it
Right.
almost sounds like, yeah, he never even seen any.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
a good
that's my headcanon at least. I think it's finding this empty ship.
And
all the
he's like,
same
"This is mine.
color."
I name it. Right. I name it.
They're the
Dibs."
Argonites.
All right. So the next race we're going to talk about is the Anthrazods. Super simple. All we know about the Anthrazods is that they are sturdy but dim-witted race used by the Tau for mining.
Perfect.
Because everyone has a place in the greater good, even if you're just a miner.
A slow, sturdy, dim-witted miner.
Yeah.
That's a good life, though.
Is it?
Whoa.
Is it?
That's another big leap there.
Mark, nothing wrong can be said about the greater good by him. Like, wow, they must love mining. They must find so much purpose through that.
I just think if you were big, slow, sturdy, dim-witted, wouldn't
I'd put you on the
just-
front line.
Oh, what?
Meat shields,
Oh, I see.
right?
Yes.
I mean, the Tau do that too. They commonly
But
use...
wouldn't you just love to swing a hammer
Tyranid
around
fodder.
with a bunch of your buddies in a cave in the dark where anything could happen?
Would we sing songs together?
Yes, yes.
Then I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I would
It
do
sounds
it
like a
only if
great
you were
time.
there right beside me, singing songs in the
in
dark.
the dark
Yeah.
together.
I don't know if there's an SPCA in 40K. I don't think they'd be very happy with this situation.
It's pretty much slavery. Let's
Yeah.
be
Right,
honest.
yeah, that's what it would seem to me.
Because it's so
No,
good. It's
guys,
so good.
it's the greater good.
Right, but
Is it?
they just
Any-
all choose to be
It's not.
minors.
No Anthrozod ever dreamed of
Right.
being a doctor, a philosopher.
How'd they make it so far? Like, how did they survive? All they do is mine. They don't forge.
No.
They just mine.
Exactly. They just had massive mountains of separated ores on their home planet, and the tower like, this is good. You done good. So the next one we've got is the Bale Childer.
So they are the last resistance to the Imperial rule in the Calyx Expanse that signaled the end of the Angivian Crusade and birthed the Calexis sector. And this Calexis sector comes up a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Xenos
Oh, there's a
in it.
lot of stuff in the Calexis.
And they were destroyed by Exterminatus along with any other alien race. Typical Imperial move there.
The thing about it is, like, clearly, the, like, Imperium's response to contact with aliens is all like, oh, shoot, kill it, right? Like,
So then, who would you rather come in contact with? The Tau Empire,
yeah,
or the humanity?
No,
because like the Tau,
I'm a human.
You're
Yeah.
now a minor.
I'm a human.
Right. He has a point though. Would you rather be a minor
just-
forever, or be exterminated?
forever.
As a human, I would rather join the Imperium and be.
That's not an option for you.
Yeah.
Why?
Eric, you're a freaky deaky alien.
7 limbs,
Oh, super
All-
psychic?
all on one side.
What? No. That sounds bad. Yeah, obviously, the Tau would be more receptive. I just wonder, after a while, like, would I fully accept my role?
No.
I'm greedy. I'm not. Yeah. And they were destroyed along with another race, like the Unarth, I think that it was called, is the other one. But that's
Yeah,
the
I
Wise, and
yeah.
that's going to be way later in the episode. And by that I mean not in this episode.
Oh.
All right. The next one we have is the Barghisi, which, like, when we first did this, like, that is from Forgotten Realms. Like, or it's a Barghest.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Slightly
Drizzt
different.
fights one like right in the beginning, like after.
Is that what it?
comes.
Yeah, it sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds very familiar.
It sounds very fantastical is what I was going for there.
Yeah, I kept going to like Benghazi, but that was me.
Well, okay. Yeah, but even like the Barghisi and how they describe it, it reminds me of the Forgotten Realms one. But it is, it's beast-like. It is a hyper-violent species, sometimes captured by the Dark Eldar Beastmasters and used in gladiatorial pit fighting. So they like pit like their fighters against these like massive hyper-violent beasts.
And that'll come up again with some of the other races.
Yeah.
The
That we're
Dark
gonna-
Eldar Beastmasters?
Yeah, even covered
Yeah.
today.
What's odd is like they are a species, and I'm pretty sure like if a species makes this list, like they have some form of sentience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Right?
for
They're
sure.
not doing animals, they're doing like sentient species.
Yeah.
But like the Beastmasters, like they treat them as if they're animals.
Yeah, but they are actually like aware.
Right, exactly. Like they have like a sentience to them. That's why they're on the list.
So now let's bring it back to, so would you rather become a minor for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
be exterminated, or be put into a gladiatorial pit and have to fight for the rest of your life?
if I'm a Barghisi, I'm going into the gladiatorial
Oh,
pit
'cause you're
because I'm hyper
hyper-violent.
violent.
Okay,
I
okay.
literally love it.
Sure,
Oh,
but
so the Dark Elders are the good guys then.
Yeah, no,
They
exactly.
find what you want to do.
Yeah. They're helping me relieve my stress as a Barghisi. The Imperium first had contact during the Great Crusade, and the Iron Lords, this is what's listed on the Lexicanum, that at some point the High Fleet Kraken was attempting to absorb some Barghisi, and they were going to like get their DNA and add it to their bank, and which would make their things presumably much more hyper-violent and like good at fighting stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the Iron Lords, all it says is they stopped that High Fleet Kraken from being able to absorb their DNA.
Yeah, and now it's not stated in Lexicanum, but so they stopped the High Fleet, and then I'm sure they swiftly followed that
Right.
with an Exterminatus
On the Barghisi. Yeah,
Yes.
no, exactly. Like, they're like, no, we must stop the High Fleet from getting this so we can kill it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like they were like protecting like a protected species
No,
or
no,
anything.
no.
Yeah.
these do have really cool looking models. Out of everything we've covered so far, these
you
were the
find-
first ones
Did
that
you
I
find
could
them?
find.
Because when we were looking for it, because I was like, we know what it is. It's actually a different model.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you looking at like that big blue creature?
I don't know. I was looking it up before,
Oh.
and everything else that we've covered so far, when I tried to Google image search and get an idea of like what these look like, you couldn't really find much at all. This was the first one
Right.
that I felt, but I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was accurate or not. But it did seem like it was a.
I can remember the fact that
We mix these guys up with the Claude Fiend, I think.
right, that's right.
But
Which would mean these ones are first though. Or are the Claude Fiends?
Yeah, there's a few here.
Yeah,
There's like, this thing's got its name right by it, and it looks like a weird. Kind
a weird four-titted creature is what he is showing me.
Yeah, that's accurate with big weird eyes, and then this one's
It
a
almost
model.
looks like
Is
the
that-
Rake.
Is that
if anyone knows.
accurate? It's got like.
No, that's arcoflagellant or something. Like, what do the
Okay.
Sisters of Battle do to like criminals?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they like.
Well, if you Google Barghisi, then you'll see at least there is a little bit of fan art for what
Yeah.
somebody pictures it
Right.
looking like.
And it really looks, it reminds me of a werewolf, is what it makes me think of. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is
Can I say this one? I
Yeah.
know how to.
Okay, go for it.
Borlac.
I was waiting for you to butcher it.
Nope.
All right,
I
go
remember
for it.
you reading that one earlier. So. They are only known for having contact with the Thraxian trade empire.
There's literally nothing known
Nothing.
about the Borlac, which I think we should just invent some stuff for the Borlac. Like,
Okay.
like if you were to think,
Okay.
what do you think 40K needs? Like so
Guns.
far we've covered.
More
I think they've got guns.
No, I think they need more.
Okay.
More planet-destroying weapons.
It needs more women, Mark.
Because then you can.
I mean,
birth
you're
more
not wrong,
people.
because then you can have more people for guns.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But like we've covered spider people so far.
Yes.
There's a bunch of insects. We've got some psychic hands, psychic mold. But really, are you seeing like something that's missing, where you're like, you know what, I would love to kill
Right.
more of this.
Borlax.
Borlax. And
I
then
would love to
That's what
kill
the
some-
Borlac could be. We
Yeah.
could just create
They're
some
Borlax. I don't understand the problem.
Penguins.
kind of sounds
They
like they
look
could
like
be
they're
like
penguins.
Jawas.
Yeah.
Jawas?
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking something small.
Like
in my
something
brain.
small, kind of annoying. Maybe like some sort of like mercantilist kind of species.
Well, yeah, they
you
do
know?
trade.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Scavengers.
Yeah, just like
The Borlac, dumb scavengers.
they're kind of filthy. No one would really miss them.
You only deal with them because you want their goods.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
you have to. You're like, well, shoot, like the regular stores don't have it. A Borlac's probably got a used one kicking around.
I can't wait till Christian listens to this episode because he's always like, I didn't like this because this wasn't lyrical, and I didn't like this because you guys need to separate your ideas and what 40K specifically says. So I'm gonna get an earful.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm just glad you are the front line for that and not.
Yeah, I shut him down hard. Like I'll do anything for a friend that will paint with me. Yeah,
I'm just saying there's an opening here.
Yeah.
And
to
there's a lot of
create
those.
Some lore.
Yeah. The next one we're going to talk about is the Brachyura.
So they are tiny, dexterous-limbed crustacean race. So crab people.
Crab people, right.
Crab, lobster people.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
They're part of the greater good.
So they work with the Tau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or subject to them as you
Right,
always
yeah.
Their leader's name is Krusty.
Now, is that the town name for them?
Yeah, I was just making that up.
King Krusty.
That was not Loracle.
Thank you for clarifying, Jordan.
That's what the Tau whisper about them, like when none of them are in the room. They're like, those filthy crusties.
Those Krusties. And they're known, they're used to the Tau Empire. Not miners,
Right.
but
A little better.
little better.
No, obviously.
all,
this
step
would
up.
be-
all they
Yeah.
do is create small plasma generators that the Earth Cath just needs.
Like, that's
So
it.
I just picture an assembly line of crabs.
And, like, their entire species and race exists within this building. Right? Like, they
Are
are,
they like
9 to 5.
intelligent?
oh,
they're-
yeah,
in
of
the
course.
factory.
like, I don't know, like, they have to
Scuttle
be
down to the
some
beach.
kind of intelligent, but really, like, all they're used for is their ability, because they can manipulate
Or they're
very
just like
small
cattle.
things. It could
but they're
be.
assembling a plasma generator.
Yeah, but I can also
Is
show
this
you how
just-
to nail like 2 pieces of wood together if you do that over and over and over again, right? And then the
can
next
teach-
part goes on. And so,
But
sure.
there could be like
There's
a
some
level of
fine detail
intelligence
here.
that they
Well,
have.
yeah, you would assume that they have to be intelligent.
They're smarter than
Like,
the
of-
miners.
Of all the people that you could choose in the race or in the galaxy to just teach something and then to make plasma generators, why would you choose a crab crustacean people to do it?
Because they have the
nobody can do it
ability.
better.
They have the ability
With their-
to manipulate
their-
really small
Their
things.
claws, the very dexterous claw. They have to be intelligent.
Yeah,
They're the
to
best at
some
what they
degree.
do.
To some degree.
Unmatched.
I mean, they're not so intelligent that they are the leaders of the greater good.
Why would you want that?
That would be hard to. That'd be very high intelligence.
Right, exactly.
That's
So
too much
there's-
responsibility.
There's a step. There's a
it's
level.
just very focused intelligence, just in this one
All-
very
all they
small area. But they're experts at it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
That's canon. I'm not making that up, Christian. That's for real.
Confirmed. Confirmed. The next race is the Brynar. And the Brynar are a bug-like species. And it never really says that in their description, but like it never says they're bug-like, but based on what we've read, we kind of just determined they're bug-like. Christian. The Brynar actually were completely devoured by the Tyranids. And once the Imperium noticed that they were nonviolent when they got in contact with them, they were systematically destroyed.
Huh.
So...
Yeah, in memoriam, so far, we have the Akhareth,
Yes.
the Baal Childer, the Brynar, all gone too soon.
May they rest
Too
in
soon.
pieces.
Pour a little out for my Xenos.
Yeah. The Tyranid, so the Swarm Lord, who is like, he's like a named Tyranid warrior, right?
Hive Tyrant.
He's a Hive Tyrant?
Sure.
Yeah, so he like according to Tyranid lore, like he gets reborn.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so apparently it was him, and he's like a tactical genius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was him who like was responsible for like the genocide of the Brynar, according to who knows.
Well, more like the feast. The feast.
right,
of the-
exactly. Yeah.
He organized this great party. He set up this nice little world. He's like, okay, come on, guys.
Yeah, come
party,
on.
Let's
It's
go.
gonna be great.
It's going to be great.
Don't let them find out about the crab people.
Delicious. The next race is I don't know if this is the Beavor or the Biavor.
Biavor.
I like the Biavor better.
I like the Beavor.
Yeah, you.
The Biavor is a Tyranid creature, so I didn't want to mix them up.
Yeah, but that's Biovor, isn't it?
I don't know words.
Okay. Well,
I can just make the best guess I can with the knowledge that I have and the very low education that I got from my parents.
the Biavor is a former slave race to the Uvath, which is another name you're going to hear pretty consistently in these descriptions. And they were used as feeding material in dark rituals. Their cognitive ability, so like their ability to process and think, and was suppressed by the Uvath. It was actually potentially life-saving because an Inquisitor deemed them a non-threat on the Angevin Crusade, and so they were a non-threat, which means that the Imperium can come back later and kill them. It means like we don't have to take care of you now, like because you're not a threat. We can just go back later and take care of you.
Yeah.
When we run out of things to kill,
Right, exactly.
we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Right, exactly. They are used as mercenaries on the Calexis sector, and they are described as sentient cattle.
That's my favorite part. Sentient cattle.
Now, what I like to think, they're goats. Because they're used in dark sacrifices.
Okay.
And if I know anything about goats and sacrifices,
That's the only
They
way
go
to
hand
do
in
it.
hand,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You can't have one without the other.
yes. So this is the Uvath's Biavors, goats.
What?
But it does say that they can become mercenaries. Did you see that about the Biavor
They're used
being used as
They're
mercenaries?
used as mercenaries. So I think of like a really dumb human. Like a super dumb human who is like me big, right? Like that's a Biavor.
I just think like you need a mercenary.
Yeah.
And you're really cheap. So you end up with sentient cattle.
Yeah, you just need to go harass your young daughter's boyfriend.
Right.
So you just
need to like put some fear in him.
Yeah. You don't need anything more than that.
No, you don't need like a PI or anything. Like you need a Biavor. Get yourself a Biavor. It makes me think of the like the cow level on Diablo. Just all these cows holding like weapons, right?
I also want to mention how I can't find anything about what the Biavor look like. So like, how am I going to tell the difference between a Biavor or a Borlak? There's not enough information here.
Have
Well,
you
we've
ever
already established what the Borlath
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, clearly, the Biovore is
small,
different than the
furry,
Borlath.
annoying creatures?
And yeah, scavengers.
Yeah, where the Biovores are
Large,
furry,
hulking.
annoying creatures.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all canon.
I think they're too dumb to be annoying. They probably
Isn't
just
that annoying
stand
in and
there.
of itself,
They have a
though?
little drool everywhere they go, like,
With a guy like that, it's annoying.
That would be annoying after a while. The next race we have are the Caradokian.
That's a cool name.
It is. It makes me think of sharks for some reason.
yeah.
Really?
Like there's like a shark. Like
Carcharodons.
yeah, the Carcharodons. So that's what, like it's
Space sharks in low Gothic for anyone who doesn't
exactly.
speak High Gothic.
Yeah. Peter clearly he was a little confused.
Yeah.
Does
I've
not
seen
speak
it.
High Gothic.
No. Inbred probably too.
A2 Brute.
What?
Sorry, I'm more of a sentient cattle.
Moo. But the Caradokians, all that we know about them is that they are a fickle, winged mercenary race.
Which I love because I'm complaining about how there's not enough description for some of these. But that's all I need. Fickle, winged, mercenary race.
So if you were
Like, that
creating
gives-
an NPC for us to engage
right,
with,
if I'm
that's
the
all.
DM,
Yeah.
that's all I need. I can run with that.
Yeah.
I can create some cool characters with that.
Give us, what would you name your NPC for the Caradokian?
Essentially, what I'm
Warlock.
picturing is just Watto, the guy who owns slave Anakin when he's a child. Yeah.
Credits will work fine.
They won't. Winged, mercenary, just enough there.
It's funny because I was thinking like cherub.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm
Sure,
thinking of,
sure.
and you're taking it
Either one are
completely
just
the
like
opposite.
fat and gross. So.
That's why I'm the better DM.
Oh,
Peter has spoken. So
I mean
it's
he's
true.
not. He's
not
that's-
wrong.
That's lore. That's
Yeah.
canon.
He's definitely not wrong.
All right. The next race we're going to talk about is the Caryatid.
Also a small winged. Oh, so this is like
This is the actual cherub.
Yeah, well, it's not actually, but we thought it was. So
Yeah, we thought it
we'll
was.
read it out.
Yeah.
So small winged humanoids, blue skinned, pot bellied, as well as being commonly covered in a tattoo like pattern, commonly wearing bracelets, bangles, and such.
They'll do face paint.
Yeah.
They are disgusting looking on.
Oh, they
the
look
cat.
so awesome. They're little demon babies.
Yeah, like so when I first Googled it or like seen this link or whatever,
They
I
are
totally,
repulsive, I think.
yeah, like
They're
if you see
amazing.
like Saint Celestine's model, like
Right.
her old model, they used to be like carrying her cape, and I used to thought this was like, literally like an
That was
unborn infant that the Imperium's like can't let a body go to waste. We're
So they
mechanicalize
shove
it.
some
Anti-grav things in its butt, give it a
Yeah,
cybernetic eye, and then now you float around holding this lady's cape. But this is actually something different than the cherubs. Like cherubs are actually what I thought they were, and this is
Looks
something
like a
else.
demonic Cupid or something.
Yeah.
No, it really is. But yeah, Mark's completely right. These like aren't to be confused with the artificially constructed cherubim,
Yeah,
which would be what Saint
but
Celestine has.
but like if you just look at it, they look the exact same.
right, they look so similar. Yeah.
So they're mildly psychic, and are often seen as lucky charms for those that they choose to adopt.
Yeah, so they like kind of latch on to like someone and like follow them around.
Yeah, like maybe their psychic ability gives them some type of foresight so they can see like, oh, this person's going somewhere. So it's kind of like that self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, or is this person now lucky, or were they always just destined to do this?
And it's kind of a self-fulfilling thing too, because they actually use like their psychic ability against the people that their like host is like either bargaining with or attempting to persuade or something
Yeah.
like that, so they can like make things go easier for them, which would make them more successful in
Yeah.
what they do. So
Yeah, they're kind of like a cool pet that you would have.
Yeah.
Especially like in an RPG, they'd be a really cool element to introduce. Maybe game breaking. Your DM would probably hate it. Especially because
like an albino raven that can talk.
right, some of them can actually even use like automatic weapons.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
flying demon
something
baby.
small that they can carry, and
I give it my bolt gun.
Oh, yes.
so it'd be like a cool role playing companion
Yeah.
to have with you.
Like
would
a
be-
good little psychic familiar.
What would be cool about role playing with that is it wouldn't listen to you necessarily all the time.
No.
And
Sure.
you'd like argue with your little companion. You're like, go open that door, and they're like, no, screw you.
And
like-
then they psychically mind wipe you.
Right, exactly. Like that would be a really fun part of playing with them.
So they're known to occupy Necromunda in many of their events and ducks. So Necromunda is like one of the Imperium's biggest hive cities. A hive city is like a giant city that is
Is it a
stacked.
planet?
No.
I thought it was a city
Like,
planet. Like
no,
a hive
that would-
planet.
Yeah, like usually that is the case, but a hive city is. It can just be a city surrounded by
Okay.
vast wasteland. It doesn't have to be the entire planet.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like a giant city that's stacked on top of each other where billions and billions live in this tiny confined area. So I'm curious if this is a common thing in any hive city or if this is a Necromunda specific.
Right, like is it off planet?
Yeah.
Right? Or even if there's another city within, like on that planet,
Yeah.
do they exist in that city?
Yeah.
Right? So it could be interesting. The next one we're talking about are the chromes. These are metallic insectoids. They are armored around their head, their necks, and their back. The population is actually pretty large, estimated at 88 billion over an entire 67 worlds. And they resemble human-sized bugs. They have impressive speed and long forelimbs. But what's odd is they're not a naturally aggressive species. Like, humanity as a whole, especially when it comes to the Imperium, would be considered naturally aggressive. Right? Like,
No.
our first instinct upon meeting alien contact is not to be like, oh, hello, friend. It's like,
Let's share culture.
it's like, should we kill you now or should we kill you later?
Non-threat a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you said like it's a huge population, but really it's not.
I know it's
88
not.
billion?
Well, over 67 worlds. So Earth has what, 7 billion on it? Well, on one world, so 7 times 67, whatever that number is, it's way
More
bigger.
than 88.
Yeah. And what's weird about it too is since they're a bug-like creature, normally bugs are
They have hives and swarms.
Yeah, and they're very numerous. But
It just it's one of the few races that they actually list a number for.
yeah, and like not only number of population but also
Number of
planets.
planets
Yeah.
that they inhabit.
67 planets. Now that's
way more
a lot
impressive,
of planets. Like
yeah.
that's literally bigger than the Tau Empire.
Yeah, Tau is pathetic.
Yeah.
So
Weak.
I don't know. I hear 88 billion human-sized insectoids. That
Armored on their head and back. And
yeah,
back.
that's
Makes you a little nervous.
yeah, just a little. You
Little
know,
fear pucker.
if they ever were to become aggressive.
it could be fun. We'd get a new crusade.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, Mark, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How many humans are sacrificed daily, every day, to keep the Emperor alive?
1,000 psychers.
1,000.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
For how many years?
10 to 10,000?
10,000 years, 365 days a year.
Yes.
1,000 members of the human population are dead to keep
I
one
don't
guy
like that
alive.
you say the word sacrifice. I prefer donated.
Donated. Voluntarily
Yeah.
donated.
Yeah.
So
But-
would you rather be a minor?
I want to do some quick math on how much that is. So 10,000, okay, because it's going to put 88 billion into perspective for us.
Sure.
Times 365. So that's how many days. So 3.65 million.
Sure.
Right? Times 1,000. Okay. So it's
Quick math.
It's 3.65 billion people since the year 30,000 have been just killed to keep one person alive.
Perfect.
That's it. And how many billions of Imperial Guardsmen die every day
Millions.
for the fight? Right? Like humanity versus these guys, like these guys are a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
88 billion.
Yeah.
But it is odd that they list the number.
Yeah, I do like that.
It's one of the few.
Yeah.
All right.
Quick math.
The Chuffian.
So I think way back in
Like,
Games Workshop's like 40K rule book number 3,
yeah.
there's like a picture of Minor Xenos Races, and there's like
That's where we even get like the first Barghisi like image.
no Claude
That's
Fiend.
the Claude Fiend, but
Yeah.
that's what everyone would assume is
there's
the
a Claude
Barghisi.
Fiend, and there's a Kroot, there's a Hrud, and
Right.
they all look slightly different than what they are now.
Because that's way long ago.
Yeah, back in 3rd. And literally there's just a picture of a power mall called the Choffian Power Mall.
Right.
And that's all we know about them.
And it kind of looks like a cattle prod.
Yeah, like so what they look like We don't know what they do for fun. We don't know.
It's odd because it's like, you know how there's different styles of weapons?
Yeah.
Right? You have like the marks, and then you have like the firebrands or whatever. There's like different names even for these things. Like, so we have a Chuffian Power Maul. How do we know it wasn't just made by some guy whose name was Chuffian? And he named the Power Maul after himself. What evidence do we have that it's actually a Arcanite species?
Yeah.
Right?
Like that's literally all we know. It's just something called Chuffian
it makes
made
no sense.
a Power Maul.
Yeah. And we've named it like the Chuffian Power Maul. And we're like, this must have come from an entire species. Let's call
dedicated
them
to just making malls.
Right. Of which we have never seen mentioned again.
Yeah.
All right. So the next we have the Cimmeriac. I don't know.
You're looking at me like I can
Cimmeriac,
help you pronounce this word. Chimalamanon.
These guys fought. I actually kind of want you to say the High Fleet's name. Okay. So they fought with High Admiral Vortigern against High Fleet.
Jerkabos.
Yep,
No.
there we go. It's Jormungandr. So they fought. They allied with the humans. I want to put this in a little perspective. They allied with the human High Admiral Vortigern. A High Admiral, probably a pretty honorable guy.
You would think, you know.
He's a High Admiral.
Yeah.
Right. 5 years later,
They win.
Right. Of course, they win. They beat High Fleet Jormungandr.
You know,
Jormungandr
after
back,
the battle, like, it's nice working with you,
Yeah,
real
yeah.
privilege.
Right.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
and they part ways.
And they part ways all as well.
Right. 5 years later, High Admiral Vortigern sends a calling card back to the Cimmeriac, and this is all that I can imagine. He's like, so I just got back from the Inquisition. I got a couple toes chopped off, and now I'm going to kill you all.
I like to think that the Chimeriac, they just open that letter and it just says Exterminatus. And they look up through like their spaceport viewfinder and they see just High Admiral like Vortigern open fire on them.
Right, yeah.
And wipe them out. To the man.
Yeah, no, they are destroyed.
They're dead.
Like an extinct species.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, they worked with them. And then he destroyed them all.
5 years later.
5 years later.
Not. They would have had to part ways. Like
Right,
He
exactly.
would have had to come back, find them in the galaxy.
I honestly think like it comes from like an Inquisitor reprimand.
Yeah, must have been.
Right? Like some member of like the Ordo Xenos is like, so remember that time like you beat Jormungandr back? Good job.
Great job.
What the hell, guy?
I noticed that you didn't kill half the Xenos in that area.
Right, exactly.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah. Oh man.
And that's not the only Xenos race that they worked with
Nope.
to fight off those
there's a couple other
Because we're
ones,
going to get down a little bit later to another race that doesn't get exterminated.
Non-threatening. Not yet. Probably not yet. It's all
Give them another 5 years.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Oh man.
Great guy.
Good guy. And I have under that, thanks Obama. So
He did it all, eh?
Exactly. The next one we're going to talk about is the Clawed Fiends.
Yeah. They're semi-sentient monsters. These guys actually have a model. They're like big, blue, furry, very dangerous looking creatures. Like massive, like probably 10 feet tall.
Yeah, massive.
As their name says, Clawed Fiend, they have claws and a tail and a red monkey face instead of a red baboon butt. They got a red baboon face.
Yeah,
so.
that's pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty
The
sweet
only reason
looking.
he's describing it so accurately is because he's literally staring at a photo.
No, I'm looking
Right,
at
that's
Jordan.
Just reminds you
They're
of-
almost like ape-like, their body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like how like they bend over and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Very
And, like, the neck.
muscular. They have incredible senses. I can't quite tell, but I'm pretty sure they have a bunch of eyes on them too.
Yeah.
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 And they're from the Dornian.
Nope.
Dawnian.
Nope.
Dawn
No.
or Ian.
Closer.
Donorin.
I don't even know how it is.
Donarian?
Donorian?
Donarian.
Donarian? No. Donorian.
What?
Donorian. Donorian.
Donorin.
I would also accept Donarian.
And they're most dangerous after being wounded, and the reason why is like
They get really
when-
mad.
Hey,
They're just pissed
Apple.
off. Yeah.
Well, you would think that's why, but that's not why.
Oh.
The real reason why is I guess their blood has some type of like hormone in it that when they smell it, it like induces a rage.
Yeah.
So
It's like it's a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Like they're in trouble, they get wounded, and they go into like berserk mode because of
And
that.
they just snort a line of blood off their arm.
yeah. They're like,
Yeah, and then they're the most dangerous. And so they're also used by Dark Elder Beastmasters to fight in gladiatorial pits and also in combat.
so another sentient race
Yeah.
relegated to being a beast by the Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Semi-sentient.
Sentient enough to make the list of sentient species.
But with the, disclaimer, semi-sentient.
You'll notice that leopards don't make the list.
What about dolphins?
Dolphins don't even make the list.
Not even space
I
dolphins?
bet all the
Space
dolphins.
dolphins.
I bet all the dolphins on Terra are dead.
There's no water on Terra, so yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, they're dead.
Well, they go.
That or they evolved past it.
They've evolved. Oh my gosh, they are the High Lords of Terra.
What? That is also
Lore canon.
That is
It is
also
now.
canon.
The next race is the Kryptos, which are pretty sweet. If anyone's ever seen Rick and Morty,
Oh yeah, yeah.
there's like the episode where there's like Michael Krombolopoulos. He's like an assassin that buys a gun off Rick, and Morty. It's like an antimatter gun, and Morty saves his target, and his target is like a gaseous form that he learns what this galaxy is like, and then he's like, we're going to destroy all the carbon life in this galaxy.
Yeah.
And Morty is so sad because the gaseous form takes him on like psychedelic trips. But that's what I picture.
Yeah, they're strange gases, cloud, eerie green glow filled with half-formed shapes.
Like it literally is the same thing
Yeah.
as like in that episode.
Yeah.
It's a gas ghost.
Gas goes. Ghastly? Haunter.
No, it would be Ghastly. Yeah.
Pikachu?
They're all Pokemon. That's what we've established.
So the cool and kind of like unique things about this gas, the Kryptos, is that they are able to pass through solid matter,
That is cool.
which is interesting because like I wonder if they can pass through like the molecules of it, or if there's like a phase type thing
Yeah,
that's
like did they
happening.
just somehow, break
Right.
down so small?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as a gas, obviously
Yeah.
you are like the most spread out when it
So
comes to
there's
that.
gases, there's liquid, there's solid.
But as a
I'm just
ghost,
No, because a ghost implies supernatural, and then it would become a phase or warp type thing. So that's what I'm wondering. Like, could this be explained through science, or does this need to be explained through magic? And
Either or, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
and then the last thing about them is that they are able to take human bodies as hosts. So I know you're like, oh, it's potentially a ghost, but if you think about it, like, if they're able to break themselves down so small, couldn't they like infiltrate your like entire brain and like
breathe
your
them in.
neurons and like manipulate you that way by altering things, right? Like
I've
It-
never been
it-
possessed before, so
I'm not. It doesn't necessarily have to be like possession though, from like a supernatural sense. Like I think it
No, I
could.
know. Well,
it could
yeah,
just as easily be like
Yeah.
a scientific host thing.
how do you fight these guys? With a vacuum like Luigi?
Yeah, essentially.
Because they're ghosts.
The reality is like, how would you fight them? Like they can pass through solid matter, right? Like,
But
how-
not liquid.
Okay, well that's a dumb.
So you have a
Drown
vacuum.
'em. You drown 'em. Okay. I no longer want to have this conversation with you because you'll just be like, but what about the liquid?
Derailment.
My specialty.
Let's get to the next guys, the Cyrenax Watchers.
That one I probably could have said. Watchers? I'm pretty sure I could have read that
We
one.
could have done that one together. I'll say the first part. The Cyrenax.
Lookers.
Yeah, there we go.
And they have terrible viral weaponry. And they're known for scourging entire populations.
They would fit right in.
Yeah.
But here's the thing to note, because the actual quote says capable of scourging entire worlds of their populations. So are they like killing their own people?
No.
here?
Like they're purging the worlds of their native, so they would come to Earth and purge our population. But it's
Okay.
viral, which to me suggests that they can tune the weapon to the organic life that they're fighting. Right? They would create a virus specifically designed to harm humans and maybe leave every other animal on Terra
Yeah.
left alive.
Yeah, it's not like the Imperial Exterminatus.
Right, where it's just a virus bomb killing life.
Yeah.
Right? No, it sounds like they are extremely adept at biological warfare.
So they're terrifying.
Right. But a quick exterminatus fixes everything. That'll fix all your nightmares. But yeah, that's as much as we have when it comes to the Cyrenax Watchers. The next are the Scythor Fiends.
Spindly limbed, vile faced, elongated, and inhuman.
It makes me think of like vampires. That's what I think of when I like spindly limbs, super long and thin, like the vile, like
Open up your mind, man. There's so much more. All
right.
Spindly limbed,
What do you
vile
think of?
faces,
The only
elongated,
vampires in 40k are the Blood Angels.
inhuman. I'm just thinking like, yeah, just too tall, too stretched out, just
Like Slender Man?
gangly. Oh, but like with limbs everywhere, just
like
too
multiple
much.
limbs.
I don't know, spindly limbs, vile faces, elongated.
Like I'm pretty sure,
inhuman.
like inhuman, but I'm pretty sure they were like they're humanoid.
Yeah,
Right?
Sure,
Like-
but
yeah.
you ever seen like an awkward like 14-year-old who's just getting really tall and they're just too stretched out and they're no, it's like a baby foal that's like can't stand up and is falling over and it's just too much legs. And that's what I'm picturing, but horrifying.
I mean, that's pretty horrifying.
I like the gross, spindly aliens who also, I mean, you still haven't got to it, but they disappear mysteriously. They just vanish. They sound awesome.
Yeah, they lived in fortresses with walls of crystals, and their weaponry is described as being uncanny. But
What would that mean?
I don't know.
It's an uncanny.
Gives you
weapon.
weird
Your
tingly
weaponry
feelings.
is very uncanny.
I feel uncomfortable when you use it.
They fought with the Black Templar, and as with most things that fight the Black Templar, they were largely exterminated. But when the Templars arrived on the home planet, it is like completely empty of any Scythor presence. So obviously,
The Imperium already was there and took care of them.
that's a possibility.
Admiral Vortigern was there.
Oh no, they at one point allied themselves. The fools.
Or they turned into space ghosts, you know? Gas
or
ghosts.
bats, because they're vampires.
Ooh,
Yeah,
space bats.
space bats.
Fly away.
Yeah, so it just like they disappeared, so they clearly recognize what they're up against and are lurking in the shadows, waiting to come back and strike. Dun, 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 dun.
I can see where you're going with the vampire kind of.
Like it makes me think of like the castles with fortresses, walls
Sure.
of crystal, weapons that we don't fully understand. Like I don't
They
know.
make you feel uncomfortable
Yeah,
with
exactly.
uncanny weapons.
Exactly. Ooh, I don't like the way that looks. No. Okay, the next one definitely gonna leave to Mark. Something he's pretty excited about.
And that is the Djerlak,
Oh
no.
my gosh.
the Demiurge.
I'm never leaving anything to you again.
Yeah, you should have learned that. You've known me long enough not to trust me. The Demiurge. So this is Games Workshop's attempt to bring dwarfs into 40k. Like a very, very loose attempt and not very fully committed. So
Not really. It's a toe in the water.
yeah, but like if you look at like Games Workshop's artwork for them, they're short, and they're known for being traders and miners, and they have beards. Like Jordan, if you Google a picture of Demiurge, Demiurg,
He can spell when it comes to not real words.
well, this is one of my favorite Xenos races.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, they're like space dwarves essentially. Add a 40k to the end of the Google.
Yeah, that's awkward. Almost anything here you have to add a 40k.
Like this?
Sure. Yeah, any of yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that?
That's one of them. There's like a sketch work done by a guy. Whatever.
Why don't you just describe
okay,
them?
up one, down one, over to the left.
Mark,
down.
this is not a live podcast. They can't see.
What?
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Then why are we wearing what?
clothes? You're just gonna ask why we're wearing clothes?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So a bit about them is they were first contacted by the Imperium since the Great Crusade, but have been increasingly sighted in the Ultima Segmentum.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they actually have a lot of contact with the Tau, and the Tau are in the Ultima
Yeah.
Segmentum.
And it's not for sure if Tau and them are just allies or if they're like actually a part of the greater good. Because
Right.
there is a distinction between the two.
Yeah, exactly. You can do business with the greater good and not necessarily join them.
Yeah. But I like it because they're a super old race, like just like dwarves should be. Like the first contact with the Imperium was during the Great Crusade, but yeah, they've been around much longer than that. They don't know if they have a homeworld, but they live in like ships, and they're completely spacefaring, and they just fly around mining asteroids with their ships. You want to read one?
No, I'm letting you do your thing.
Oh, okay. They're defensively hostile and non-militaristic, but like they are known for making like Tau ion weapons. That's where the Tau got the technology. So they definitely are not like completely peaceful.
Yeah, they're not
still,
pacifists.
No.
But they're not going to go looking for a fight.
Yeah. Another cool thing to note about them is... One of their One of their technologies is called the Demiurge Surveying Glass, and it has like it's a mining tool essentially that allows them to see through solid rock to mine minerals, and they can see through like 2 kilometers of solid rock.
Yeah, it's like a fish finder, but like for metal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a fish finder tells you like, oh, like this is how far like the fish are. Like this glass is like, this is how far you gotta dig. This is what it looks like.
Yeah. More about their tech is it's dual purpose normally. It's used for mining as well as killing. So they'll have like a las cutter where you can cut the rock in half or cut the human in half.
Right.
Your choice.
Yeah,
You know, they're
what's in front of you?
Yeah, you can use like hammers are kind of like what they're used. Like they're very dwarf. Like their tools are their weapons.
Yeah.
You know. And I don't know. There's quite a bit of information. Like this is probably one of Games Workshop's heavily
A little more fleshed out.
Yeah. Like yeah, they're
Yeah.
not the most, but they're up there.
Yeah, they definitely avoid Imperial space
Yeah.
unless they are specifically invited in, and it wouldn't be by like any crazy planet. It would more be like with the outlier humans who are willing to
and that's
risk trade
also a
with
very
Xenos.
dwarf characteristic. Like they normally do keep to themselves. Like
Right.
they're less seen. They're less willing to do business with other races and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their like hierarchy is broken into like brotherhoods and or clans.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any kind of like true ruler to them, as far as I'm aware.
I don't know if they gave it a name, but they must have some type of male patriarchy to it.
That's it. That's it. Down with the demiurges.
Yeah, but like each ship that they have is its own clan.
Right.
So yeah, it's like their own. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like they're nomads.
Yeah.
Right? They just travel from one asteroid to the next, harvesting
it.
as they go.
Yeah.
Right?
And, like-
they follow the asteroids.
Yeah. What do they do with these resources? They trade it to the Tau for who knows what, and then they just go mine more asteroids.
They trade them for what are the crustacean ones? Like
Plasma generators.
right, yeah, exactly. No, they like are slowly building that, like they literally take that species and have them on their ships, like fixing stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because they're slaves. They are slaves. I'm fairly certain.
I got some more information about the Demiurge, but we'll talk about it in the very end of the episode.
Sure.
I think.
Then the next one we're going to talk about is the Jarlik, which starts with a D, but I'm pretty sure that D is silent. So Jarlik, and this is an aquatic Xenos, which is pretty rare. Actually, I don't think we've seen any so far.
Yeah.
They were already capable of 3-dimensional combat before they came spacefaring, just because if you're in the water, right, it's like 3D.
I've never been.
If you're on the
personally.
land, it's only 2D.
Unless
Like,
you
we
jump.
only exist in 2 dimensions on land.
Yeah.
But if you're in water, everything becomes 3-dimensional.
Whoa, science.
I know. But that, like, what that makes me think of is that they were actually really adept at space combat once they actually got into space.
Yeah.
Right? Because they just were much more familiar with the mechanics of having to worry about the up and the down now.
Yeah.
And how did that work out for them?
Well, they were former clients of the Uvoth, which is a name we've mentioned before.
And what happens to all of Yuvath's clients?
You don't want to know. The species was purged during the Angevin Crusade.
Was that an Imperial Crusade?
This was actually seen as one of the many successes of the Imperium. So what did you do today, Vortigern? Oh, I destroyed another race.
It was like the Imperium has this tally of Xenos that they've killed, and this was like the 10,000th Xenos.
Yeah,
so
and
it's like
then
this
they pop
big
a bottle of champagne.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a bingo card, and they're like, an aquatic one. Yes, we filled out our card.
4 in a row.
Genocide! Instead of shouting bingo, they shout Xenocide! Yeah, but that's about it.
Another cool alien race gone too soon.
Christian likes this. Well, he likes the idea of this race because he wants to do a 3-dimensional Waterworld table board. And he's going on
That would be so cool. I'd love to see it, Christian.
Yeah. And he has this huge scheme where he'll cut a bunch of pieces of plastic and stack
he'll
it
layer
in.
them. I think he's talked to me about this.
Yeah, and you stack them a foot apart. So when you have a 6-foot table and you got to try to reach into the middle, you have to reach under all these stacks of plastic, try to reach inside, just so you can have 3-dimensional combat.
Hey, remember space physics?
I do not recall such things.
Everybody loves space physics. Okay. The next one is the Donarathi. Oh,
Here we go.
Sad. The Donarathi fought High Fleet Jormungandr with High Admiral Hanroth, different than Vortigern. Mm-hmm. And they were at war with the Vassalian before that. Now, I don't believe that Hanroth ever went back and destroyed them, but it's got to be on the to-do list.
It definitely is.
So like the Cimmeriac, they fought alongside against those Tyrannid,
Jormungandr.
Yeah, I know. But no record of them being destroyed. So
Yes.
What's up, High Admiral Hanroth?
I don't think he's had a meeting from an Inquisitor yet. That's all that he's waiting on.
So he only wants to. He'll kill them if he has to.
Right.
He didn't really want to.
No, of
so
course
is he
not.
a sympathetic figure then for me, who's going?
I think what more is he's I don't have the resources to have another war with these people, so let them go if they're peaceful, because everything comes down to can you do it? Because the Imperium is a big fan of oh yeah, you go until you die.
Yeah.
You go fight that or you die trying, and they don't care. They've got more soldiers back in the pipes, right? So
It just seems like such an opportunity where, this guy teams up with these alien races, which I know is not popular in the Imperium.
I would think
frowned upon.
It's not really
Is
less
that the way I
popular.
should?
Heretical,
Right. And yet it worked. It was so successful.
right?
And maybe something you should try again, Imperium.
No.
you
I just
should-
want to point out 2 things. This is not noted as one of the Imperium's great successes. So that's step 1.
Okay.
Allying with the Xenos is not a great success.
Yes.
And step 2, why do they have 2 admirals in the fleet fighting the High Fleet?
Vortigern
and Hanroth
maybe
fighting they're side by side, these 2.
Jormungandr is not a small fleet.
No.
Right? It's decently sized.
Yeah.
It's potentially they were fighting different tendrils, right? In different sectors or
Sure.
star systems.
You just toss around the word admiral.
High Admiral, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Peter, if you would like to know about a race that humanity just couldn't live with, you should Google Interrex.
All right. I will do that. Actually, one of the things that I found the most confusing about 40K when I first started into the lore was just why do you guys hate all these aliens? Maybe there's some good aliens out there. Maybe you should just try some friendship for a little
You
bit.
sound like a filthy Tau sympathizer.
I guess I am. Yeah, I don't know.
The greater bad.
So have you come to realize why the Imperium's the way they are?
So xenophobic.
Yeah, they're just full of hatred and very small-minded.
Wow. And yet, for some reason,
I've never
they
felt
are
more at
such
home.
a galactic player. It seems to me that the Eldar and the Orc and the humans, who probably have the largest roles, and the Necron, they're kind of loners. You know, like
Yeah, they don't really work
They don't
together.
really work with other races, and I think there's something to be said for that kind of exclusion. Right,
So
like
we
things
gotta
that
be
aren't
more
the same.
exclusive if we want to get somewhere. in
Right,
life.
like if they're
Being
not the same as you
inclusive
get
is
rid
bad.
of them.
Well,
When it comes to like your species, yes.
didn't the Eldar like work with the Satan way back in the day?
No, that would have been the old ones. They fought the Satan.
Oh, right,
But
right.
The old
Sorry.
ones created them,
I guess so.
right? So it's kind of like that's like, your dad and your child and raising your child. But honestly, like the Eldar are not even remotely as close to like welcoming as the Tau.
No.
Like they're pretty like judgmental.
Yeah.
Like they are, for all I
Yeah.
joke about it. Like
They'll work with you, but they're going to be a dick about it.
right, they
It's
know
like
they're
hanging
better
out
than
with
you.
Eric.
I was gonna say Christian.
But even the Tau though are a little bit like it's like you're either with us or against us. And
Yeah.
it's not exactly like a voluntary
And it's like,
relationship.
hey, by the way, you're minors.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have a chance to, like, conscript into our army. You just get to bang rocks all day.
So next on the list is Dracolith, and they're crystalline alien.
Sweet.
These are cool.
Yeah.
Cool name.
Yeah.
Crystalline Alien, also cool. 2 for 2 so far.
They have a religion, which is a good thing. They attend
Ah.
the Church of the Dracolith.
That never went wrong.
Which also sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
That's 3 for 3.
They literally worship themselves, essentially. Because
Yeah, it's odd. And the
Like-
thing is, like, Dracolith, like, it makes me think of dragon.
yeah.
Obviously, like...
Crystal Dragon. That's your Pokemon types.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're encroaching on Imperial space.
Yeah.
This seems like a cool, like, kind of like a placeholder race where it's like we could come back and do
exterminate
something
them later.
cool with them. Maybe make them a bit more of a threat.
Yeah.
They're kind of just sitting on the edge, but they are encroaching.
Yeah.
On the space. We're gonna find like there's another race that's kind of described in the same way. Just like they're taking up space, they're moving into some territory here. Maybe later they're gonna be a bit more of a problem.
Yeah. This is just Games Workshop throwing out a bunch of names,
They
copyrighted
just have a
them,
random
Right,
name
yeah.
so no
generator.
one else can ever use the word Dracolith. And
And,
we
like, their
copyrighted
books.
it, yeah.
Well,
Just sitting in a boardroom, throwing out cool names, like trademark it. I like that.
and the cool thing is, like, they have so many authors write their Black Library. Like, one of them potentially could have, like, the freedom to expand, like, pretty heavily
Yeah.
on these races. Because,
Yeah.
like, that's the only way we get information about these, because they're not really in the codexes.
no. Or if they are, it's like that one sentence,
Right.
you know.
Humanity
like,
fought this person.
Yeah.
That's it.
M41 994. They fought this race.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, not a lot is known about the Dracolith.
Nope. But crystalline alien, pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
like, are they like body? Like, do they have like legs that like the crystals move, or is it more like they are
Humanoid
like a crystal?
shape.
Right? Are they humanoid shape made of crystal?
Right.
Or are they like a crystal that grows? Right.
Yeah, I hope they're not just like little rock formations. 'Cause that
There,
sounds
there
really
was
bad.
I used to watch, kind of geeky of me, but I used to watch Stargate SG-1.
Actually, I like
And
Stargate.
I think there was like an episode. It was one of the first episodes in the series, and there was a species they encountered that was like a literal rock that like grew out, but it was like a sentient being. So,
Well, what's interesting is coral.
but it was
is-
like a crystal that grew out of the ground.
coral is technically alive, but it's a
yeah.
rock,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like it feels like a rock. Like when you touch it, like it's sharp enough, it'll
Right,
like cut
yeah.
you. It bears no like ill will, but it's alive.
Yeah.
We don't know it bears ill will.
I'm just saying.
But like
Those coral reefs are endangered. They probably have some ill will by now.
fair enough.
We should exterminate them all before they become too
Have
powerful.
you seen when they bleach? Like it's crazy what they look like. Watch like a whole documentary on it.
Exciting life.
No, it's terrible. Woke up, stay woke, or whatever it is. I don't know. Okay, let's get to the next one. The Drathari. Nope, I said that wrong. The Drathri. They are creators of the Drathri Pain Goblet. So similar to
Goblet.
Is that what I said?
Pain goblet.
Drink from this goblet.
Why is it hurting when I'm drinking?
Tell that to the,
It's just
tell
a
that to
cup
the
of
blood
spikes
angels.
around it, like-
Yeah.
Okay, they are the creators of the Drathri Pain Gauntlet.
Oh.
So very similar to the Chuffian Mall, Power Mall. This is what we know about them.
Except this one can be a little confusing because not only does it take the form of a gauntlet,
Right.
it also
Takes the form of a goblet.
no of a whip.
Okay.
So
But it would still be called the Drathri Pain Gauntlet.
yes, which is what leads me to the confusion.
Right.
Because if it was me personally, I would have just named it Dre
goblet.
3 Pain Weapons.
Pain technology.
Pain technology, yes.
Yeah, so it takes the form of a whip or gauntlet. It is a torture device to deliver pain throughout the target's nervous system. Now, I have here kind of like an aside, Rogel Dorn with a question mark. Do you want to give a little backstory on that one?
Rogel Dorn after the Great Crusade, and after the death of the Emperor, and after Horus Heresy and all that, he felt like he failed the Emperor, so he started going into what he called the Pain Glove, which was basically almost exactly the way they described this, where it's like a gauntlet or a glove that you put on, and then it doesn't do actual physical harm. It just
attacks
fires
your nerves.
Yeah, it just fires neurons or whatever and makes you feel painful as like a penance for failing.
Right. No way am I convinced that it's the same thing, but
No.
there is a very strong similarity between them.
Yeah. And the Imperium is known for using, like, Xenos weapons or whatever.
On the down low.
Yeah, like,
Not sanctioned.
yeah.
Every once in a
some
while
weapons-
we use...
some weapons are.
Every once in a while we use, like, Eldar sorcery to wake up Rabuk Gilliman, but that doesn't matter.
You know, just, it's inconsequential when they do.
Right, of course. When it advances the story.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's all we know.
It's an interesting thing, though. It could potentially be a connection. Like, we might know like, where the pain
Yeah.
glove came from, or the idea of the pain glove.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah.
But that's all we know about them, is that they created this weapon. The next one we're going to do is the Drahendra. This one's pretty cool.
Sentient, energized dust.
Forming membranous skins around themselves. So it kind of makes me think of like another like gaseous type creature, but like a translucent skin, like enclosing like their body. Right? It's like a human body if the skin were translucent and inside it was just dust.
Like a jellyfish.
Kind of, yeah. I guess
something.
I could see that.
The way they're almost described is, it almost sounds like they encompass an entire, like, gas giant, like a giant planet.
Oh,
And
that
then,
big.
like, they encompass it, and then they, like, leech energy off it, or they eat the gas or whatever. Now, maybe they don't encompass the entire planet, but they definitely, like, go close to it and try to, like, eat the gas.
Yeah. Another thing is that their intelligence was considered immeasurable.
So on their IQ test, it was just the infinity sign, like...
No, it's
just
it read
question mark.
error.
Question-
Error.
We don't know.
Yeah. They seem to perceive the universe extremely slowly, which is interesting. It kind of, it like, breathes a longevity into that race.
Right.
Anything who can perceive the universe slowly and still be alive clearly has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
At least that's my thought process on it. And they are almost extinct by the end of the last years of the Great Crusade. So it doesn't say that they were purged during the Great Crusade, so we can only assume and hope. We can only hope that a couple more are still out there
Oh,
for us to kill.
yes.
Right,
I
like
want to be able to kill one
Right,
in an
exactly.
RPG.
Right, like
I think you just have to poke them, and the dust just
like,
comes
like
out.
a balloon,
Yeah.
like it deflates.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Drahendra. All right, the next one. Let's talk about the Draken.
Six-limbed reptilian, a meter in body length, as well as a tail.
Okay, so that's a pretty good description actually when it comes to most of the races that we have.
Yeah, six-limbed reptilian.
Yeah, but meter in length. That's 3 feet plus like their tail, which is probably another 3 feet. It's pretty big for a lizard.
It's a good time.
Nope, not for anyone. Not unless you're a Draken. But they were sentient, and they could actively communicate with humans, which makes them much more ominous, like the whole thing,
Yeah.
than just like a lizard that like potentially had a clan, right? Like, no, they could communicate and talk with humans. And what was interesting about these is that the humans seem to be extremely content with their symbiosis and their relationship with the alien race. So there was an Inquisitor, I believe it was an Inquisitor or it was like a Space Marine, but it would make more sense to be an Inquisitor.
Sure.
Who came to like view like this like planet that had the species on it, and they were like talking with the humans, and the humans had like nothing but good things to say about the Draken.
Oh yeah, those Draken, great guys.
Right, exactly.
Pay their taxes.
Well, don't know about that. But another thing is that the Draken, I think I read this, is that they would like drape themselves around like their humans.
Yeah, they were like almost like
It's
accessories.
like a pet or something.
Yeah.
And part of the reasons that the humans absolutely loved them is that the Draken seemed capable of projecting their emotions onto the humans that they shared like the space with. So they would like, if the human is like getting super angry or upset, and the Draken is like, oh, that wouldn't be good for my life environment, like I'll make them happy.
I don't like all that negative energy.
Right, no, exactly. Just gotta get the pause, you know? So, like, they would, like, project, like, a positive energy and, like, emotion, and the humans around it would pick up on it and just become happy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's almost like, it's like a cat, really, whose only purpose and only objective is just to live comfortably. But now they also have the ability to alter the emotions of like the humans around them. So I could see like a Draken is like super hungry, and it's like hungry, like it just projects that emotion to a point to where the human is like
a bunch of humans start like looking around.
Yeah,
like,
they're like, I'm just really hungry right now, right? Like that's what I could see happening, right? Because they don't seem to have any kind of like purpose beyond existing with the humans.
And it doesn't sound like they're doing it maliciously or anything. Like they're just having a good time. They're just,
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because to me, like, I just get a bad vibe about these, like, big lizard people.
And they are big.
That you wear around your neck, this meter length.
And that, like, mess with your emotions and manipulate you.
Well, you just haven't spent enough time with one.
Well, just out of all of
They're super great, trust me.
Out of all the alien races they just take a look at and then instantly kill, the fact that these ones are still around, where they're like living in some sort of weird harmony
like
with
they
the
can
humans.
talk with humans?
Like
Maybe
it just seems
maybe
really
these are
strange
like
for 40K.
maybe these are like the Alex Jones lizard people.
Oh my god.
And they really weren't that bad.
It just seems like out of so many other Xenos races that have been destroyed, the fact that these
Why does
ones,
this one get a pass?
Yeah, and that they feel comfortable with it. Like it says that they're part of like the ruling councils even of some of the communities.
Well, I mean, it
on
makes
this
sense.
planet.
You don't want to upset.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you wouldn't want to upset a race that like could negatively like if all of a sudden every Draken in the planet was like death and like war or whatever, like they would turn off the emotions of every human and like mess with them.
Do you think the humans are aware?
No, I don't. I think an outsider would be
Oh
aware.
yeah, but there were outsiders that came. Like there's a Death Watch team that came,
Oh,
and
maybe
that's
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, there was an infiltration team
it's
that
on the
came,
list,
and they were
man.
questioning.
It's on the list.
And it's like they just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah,
It's just so crazy to me
there's
because
more
I'm like,
threatening things out there, like the race that fights beside you.
yeah, exactly. That helps you kill Tyranids, and then you're like, gotta get rid of those guys. But you come to this planet, it just feels like a real like Twilight Zone kind of vibe, where you're walking around and you're the only one who's like, hey, don't you guys think it's weird that these lizard people are manipulating
And then the
you?
one human's like, come see the lizards. Right? And there are lizards just slithering up and down their body. You'll love it. No, too super. Like, you could have a really, like, dark angle on that.
Yeah, I
For
just
sure.
think it's
Like
super.
Children of the Corn style.
Really weird.
Okay, let's talk about the Draxian. Really cool name. And all we know about them is that they form part of the Draxi hegemony. So they started it, obviously, the Draxians.
Yep.
And they are a new empire that is beginning to conquer Imperial space. Is this another one of your...
This is very much the same as the
if
crystal
someone wanted to expand
aliens.
on this.
They had a church named after them. So the Dracolith Church, Church of the Dracolith. These guys, the Draxian hegemony, like same kind of vibe here.
Like I kind of understand the word hegemony. Like it's like.
Uh-oh, I'm going to have to Google to find that.
Yeah, like
before
what
I-
is the actual definition of hegemony? Like I can understand the intent
It's
behind
like,
the word.
it's sort of like
but-
all. Don't quote me on this when you find the actual.
Think like a kingdom. Like,
Yeah,
I thought
like a kingdom has
obviously-
a king, but a hegemony has like a supreme leader.
But I
that
thought
would
it's
be in
also
charge of
like-
it.
It's more about like coherence.
Right. It's
yeah,
like,
a
if
coherent
humanity
group.
were to come
Yeah.
together, we would probably have a hegemony.
Okay.
Right? Because one person could not be responsible for the entire race as a whole.
Oh, okay.
So that would be like the ruling class.
It's like Ender's Game, where his like brother
The movie does a
Peter-
terrible job in it, but the books.
Peter Wiggin, he like
Right.
becomes the ruler, and Earth becomes a hegemony, and he's the hegemon.
It's a little different. It is a leadership or dominance, but especially by one country or social group over others. Okay, so it is kind of like the Draxian hegemony would like rule either others within their social rank or other races.
Right. Or so like if there was like an American hegemony, it wouldn't
America
mean
would
that
rule the world.
There'd still be the other countries.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
But the hegemony's in charge of the world.
Okay.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
It's just a word.
Yeah. Another one that we're gonna forget in 3 minutes, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, because they're just placeholder.
Is it
aliens in
hegemony
this.
or hegemony?
Hegemony? Yeah.
Ew. I do not like the way you
Aluminium.
that one's correct. And
What?
I catch it is. It really is. Like and
Until
if
you look at the word aluminum,
If you-
and you look at the spelling
No,
of it,
no,
and you're
no.
like, you're going a little crazy
If
here with
you-
the aluminium.
aluminium is the
Minium?
correct word.
Or what about cheetah?
Chasm.
That's not funny.
Chasm.
That's not funny. No, if you look at the etymology of the word aluminium, like it is the actual correct title, and the damn Americans.
Whoa.
Honestly,
Whoa.
no, seriously, like just do like it was like a single article,
Like how they used to call foyer.
but like
Decal,
that is a more of
decal.
a cement, like that's more of like a pronunciation.
This is going to be
But
the rest of the podcast.
aluminum and aluminium are actually spelt differently.
Oh.
Right? Aluminium actually has IUM at the end of it, and aluminum does not.
All right, just UM.
Right, exactly. So they are spelled differently, and the guy who found or
So
created
the drow
okay, yeah,
are
sure.
large larval and
You
warm.
learn more than just 40K on this podcast.
You don't learn anything.
And it's the
I lied at the beginning. I've learned nothing. This podcast has taught me nothing.
sorry, Mark, keep going.
They're the drow.
Ew, the drug or the drug.
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 The Drew.
Large.
Drew?
large-
Yeah, Drew.
Drew
Like,
wouldn't be
Drew
bad.
is probably actually correct.
Mark's still
That's
trying
what
to
I
go.
thought it was Drew when I read it.
Okay. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I'm done.
I give you okay. You read the whole thing?
Yeah, when you guys were talking, I read it all, and no one listened to me.
They are a large larval or worm-like race.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Subterranean.
I did not say that.
I was gonna say you didn't say that one. So they exist below the surface of a planet. They have advanced psionic ability, which I always think is cool to differentiate between like psychic and psionic.
And how do you differentiate?
I would differentiate it between psionic being the manipulation of reality, but without using the warp. I think of it more as Necron tech style, right? Because a Necron will affect reality without bringing the warp into the equation at all,
Okay.
right? And then psychic ability would be affecting reality by using the immaterium.
So you have the wrong idea then.
Oh. No, isn't it, or is psionic
psi-
head?
No, psionic has to do with like the manipulation of like electricity.
Really?
If you Google the word, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't have anything to do with warp necessarily.
Okay, no.
Which is
No,
psychic.
I definitely knew it wasn't warp related.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I thought it was just a manipulation of reality.
No, it has to do more with like manipulating like electricity.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm Googling it because I don't believe you.
Why you Google? Their homeworld is Prius 1.
You are so wrong.
What, isn't it?
I mean, here it doesn't help because it definitely says relating to or denoting the practical use of psychic powers or paranormal phenomena.
I remember like reading it though when we talked about them before because we got into a huge discussion about
know,
the difference
but-
between it. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm
I
just
don't
a
know.
guy with a
Lonely
microphone.
guy. Okay, sorry. Let's ignore that for a second.
Okay. They were examined by Magos biologist Charlie Darvis. She suggests that they use their mouth to eat and crap.
That is the one observation she
Like,
was
huh,
capable of making.
they use their mouth to eat and crap. Let's just chalk that one up to exterminatus. I think we've learned all we need to learn about this.
Heresy.
Filthy, larval, worm-like creatures.
Yeah. I do like worms. Like, I like the Dune imagery. Right? Like,
I guess.
I don't know.
I guess they're large.
like,
They're listed as large. but
Not everything has like blades for arms. Or
The
like,
paranormal phenomenon in relation to the application of electronics.
where like, how am I getting such a different definition than you are?
I can't spell.
So you think you're spelling the wrong thing? You know what? Why don't you actually go to like the Drew site on Lexicanum while I talk about the ectosaurids. And the ectosaurids, it's pretty simple. Their homeworld was invaded by the Iron Warriors, a Space Marine chapter, during the Great Crusade. Well, I guess it would be a Legion. They were invaded by the Legion Iron Warriors during the Great Crusade, and surprise, surprise, they're extinct. And that's about all we got on the ectosaurids.
cool name.
Oh, it is a
And-
pretty cool name.
And they're gone.
Yeah. There's saurid makes me think of like dinosaur,
Yeah.
right? Like saurian.
Yeah.
And ecto makes me think of like an ooze,
Sure.
right? So like
Ooze dinos.
right,
Dino ooze.
dino ooze, you know?
Weird.
Okay. Now Igarian. This is a long extinct race.
But by cataclysm, nobody else came in and killed them.
Or was the Imperium the calamity?
no.
No, okay. The only remainder of them being the Cyclopean maze cities. What the hell does that mean? What is this Cyclopean maze city? Like, is there like a single thing in the middle and then everything mazes outwards from there?
It has to do with electronics.
Oh my! Tell us your wizardry, Mark. No, seriously. Like,
Yeah, I
how
don't
would
know.
how would you picture a Cyclopean maze city? And I'm looking at Peter as I say this.
I don't even know what
Cyclopean
that word
is
is.
denoting a type of ancient masonry made with massive irregular blocks.
That is so like when I think Cyclopean, I think of like one.
Cyclops.
Right. Exactly.
Or like
So-
it's circular. Like
Yeah.
it's a circle maze.
Yeah.
Like an
But
eyeball.
it's just like huge,
but no, it's just
stoneworks
big,
almost.
ancient masonry, irregular blocks. It's a specific
Okay.
style.
Yeah, okay. They were potentially corrupted by the Yuvath.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another name dropped by them.
Yeah.
Who granted them powers that doomed them to total extinction.
Yeah. So like, what power? Let's say.
What power did they give
It's
them?
like selling your soul to the devil or something.
No.
It was a maze building power.
Nope. Wrong again.
Okay, they gave them the ability to
become famous rock
solve
stars.
any puzzle, but removed any passion for the opposite sex. Because they were so smart. They was like, we're past the need to reproduce.
Let's take it.
That would make you go extinct pretty quick.
Yep. What about this?
Okay. Clearly you
showed
have
up.
one.
They showed him porn. A great power that doomed into extinction.
Doomed them to extinction.
Yeah. There you go. So we know what happened to them.
No, we don't. I'm refusing to believe that that's canon.
Check Lexicanum. Check it.
I've added it on Lexicanum.
Read it on
Yeah,
Lexicanum.
but the interesting thing here is that it's the Yuvath, right? Like, they seem to have their fingers in a lot of different races.
Yeah.
A lot of different dead races.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Or-
have their sentient cattle. They have these guys that gave them porn and doomed them to
That's
extinction.
not what they gave them. I honestly think, like, it was like a sell your soul to the devil type deal, right?
Yeah,
like,
I do like
yeah,
the
no,
whole,
I-
where you're like,
They
can solve
give
any
them a
problem,
boon,
but,
but like they take something away from them. Yeah. The next is the Anulians, and we actually have a decent amount of information about
These
them.
guys are kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
So they're humanoid, average height of 1.5 meters, and slight build and yellow skin.
So probably like, especially because human has such a big variance in like between the different humans on different planets. Like
Sure.
these could probably pass for like humans at some
What's
point.
1.5 meters in feet?
That's like 4 feet, 4.5 feet.
Okay, so still small.
Yeah, but small, but not outside
Not
the
outside,
range
yeah,
of
yeah.
possibility.
Sure.
Except for the next part on there.
Which would be slight build and yellow skin.
Yeah, no, that's possible though.
I've
Right,
seen
a slight build and a yellow skin. Like how yellow we talking?
Pre-cringing.
No, I'm just meaning like how yellow are we talking? Like bright yellow, like jaundice yellow.
Imperial Fist yellow.
That's bright. That's pretty bright yellow.
And also this next part,
Right,
their
yeah.
skin exudes a lubricating material that makes them hard to hold on to.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of glistening with a sheen.
They're just really sweaty. Super sweaty.
I'm totally human, guys. I'm totally just like you.
And then you
Except-
take a closer look and you're like, huh,
Wait.
they don't have any noses or ears.
Or ears.
You only have slits.
Yeah. But
So-
maybe they just had cosmetic surgery.
They got the Voldemort nose,
Exactly. No
but also
ears.
with ears.
Yeah, and they just have old holes,
Just
like lizard
slits.
holes,
Yeah.
like where the ears are.
Yeah. One thing to note about them too is they have a deep hatred for the Imperium, reacting with an uncontrollable rage to Imperial icons such as the Imperial Eagle.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about this is like the hatred doesn't transfer to humans.
Yeah, so to me, like, it would mean that like they must have some type of like either they're super opposed to like religion or they have their own religion.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause it's
Maybe
like they have
they're
nothing
opposed
against-
to the idea of the fact that there's like one group leading like all these people.
Or
and
they
they're
just
like,
see how flawed the Imperium is.
Well, that's
guys.
not possible.
that's hard
I
to
think
see.
Yeah.
I'm an Anulian. I just realized that this
Yeah, check
the
yellow
slit that I
skin,
have
he's got this-
for a
he's
nose and
greasy
my
looking.
ears.
Like if there's like a Nulian like infant that's found and like a really like caring parents take the Anulian in, do they ever tell him he's an Anulian or are they just like you're just different, like little warp dust on you?
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
All right, so their services can be purchased with bones, plants, and junk. This makes the Ordo Xenos nervous because they think they might be using them in underhanded rituals.
like chill Ordo Xenos. Like, come on, how much trouble can you really get into with bones, plants, and junk? Come
do
on.
you really want to know?
Clearly, Peter's never been to one of our rituals.
Yeah.
of
It's a
demon
very
summoning.
odd form of currency.
Yeah.
It
I'm just saying they
is.
sound pretty cheap. You can get these guys for real cheap.
Who's cheaper, the sentient cattle or these guys?
I think I want the Anulians.
They often dress in primitive clothing, but are actually quite advanced. Like their weapons shoot solid crystal ammunition that shreds their enemy. So which is pretty sweet. Like getting
Yeah.
shot by like a diamond that just explodes and shreds you. Sweet. Pretty
Cool.
cool. Pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Pretty neat.
Hey, that's pretty neat.
Pretty good. They use monomolecular lines in close combat. It seems that only the Anulians can use this weapon without being shredded because of their greasy skin.
Yeah, it is a little odd, but like, so
What came first, the
monomolecular-
weapon or the grease?
The grease, definitely the grease.
Oh.
But like, yeah, the weapon is like so fine that
Yeah.
if you touch it, it will just like shave you like on the molecular level.
Yeah.
Because like it's so thin, it is a single molecule wide, so you can't even
You're
see
not seeing it, yeah.
Right, like you would touch
Oh
it
wow,
and it
that's
would
actually kind of.
no exactly like you would just walk right through it and it would just like sever everything.
I don't think I like that.
on the molecular level,
I don't.
which is pretty crazy.
I don't think I would like to be around them.
It's a little
anymore.
different when you
I
think
thought-
about the picture, right? Like,
Yeah, no, that is. Yeah.
Like that's the perfect.
I was
assassin
thinking more like
tool.
a garrote. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
But like that, you can see the line.
Right.
You can still hold it off, but like this,
Exactly.
like
Yeah, and is that like a whip? Is that how they're wielding this? Because that
Yep.
seems really dangerous.
Yes.
just well,
Like-
no, because their skin's so greasy. If it
I know,
hits
but
it-
I'm
can't-
totally gonna end up whipping myself at some point.
Like the
because-
eye.
with, like an invisible whip.
And then you'll hear your mom's voice in the back. Y'all, you're gonna put your eye out.
I am. I'm gonna kill myself with this whip.
now,
This
just
is
imagine like
very
this
dangerous.
young kid in a room with a bunch of like valuable items, just flinging this thing around, and everything around him
Just
is just
shredding.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
perfect cuts. Like
It would be. It's pretty sweet to like see things cut on like a molecular level.
Yeah.
Like it's just so perfect. The next race we're gonna talk about is the Fang.
the fifing.
The Fang. Fang.
So this one's probably my favorite race of all time.
Why is it your favorite race, Mark?
They're a mysterious race with no imperial record. So how do we
even
know?
We know
about
more
them?
about the Argonauts than we do about
Yeah,
these guys.
yeah. And that's all we know.
That's all we know.
We don't know anything.
No record.
Yeah, there's probably just some like Xenos
There's a
that got
footprint.
captured.
There was a footprint.
No, he's like being like inquisitioned, and he's just confessing to things, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's also the Fafang."
What happened to that shipment of good? It was the Fafang.
It's the scapegoats.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you better get your dinner or the Fafang will come for you.
So again, a bonus race that you can create your own lore.
Exactly.
You can just run a whole campaign all about the Fafang.
Fafang. The next one, Formosian.
Why does that sound so familiar?
I don't know. Like, Formic is from Ender's Game, but Formosian itself, I can't picture anything.
I think of. Well, never. They're part of the Tau Empire. I think of cheese.
Right,
Why do-
fromage.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
it's not
that's-
just me.
No, fromage is cheese in French.
Oh, okay. Well, now I don't feel like a retard as much.
You never were.
And that's all we know. They're part of the Tau Empire.
Yeah, I don't even think it lists like their function within
no.
the Tau Empire. Slaves, probably. Anyways, moving on. The Fraal. Little is known beyond that they are a piratical and nomadic race, famed for ether technology, which is capable of ignoring void shields and Eldar hollow fields. Ding, ding, ding. It's a Titan killer.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. They have Fraal glass knives, are sharp enough to cut into ceramite and deal agonizing wounds. They splinter in the wound. That's crazy. Like, they'll go through ceramite, but then as soon as they're in the wound, they'll break apart.
Oh, that is odd.
I wonder if it's like it's a react to like biomass or something.
Yeah, this seems like a really cool race. Like they've got a lot of really awesome technology, this ether technology, and it says about them that they're so mysterious, but really because the Inquisitors of the Ordo Xenos, they just don't want anybody to study them, and so they want to keep it as like a legend and keep them as like this legendary
Really?
status because they don't want anyone to like
So why do you
research
think
and know more about
they
them.
want everyone to keep it at arm's length?
Because they're Inquisitors. They just hate aliens.
And they like secrets.
Some
and
Inquisitors
their
work
tech,
with aliens.
their tech seems to be like pretty advanced. And in fact, even I think it's like the leader of the Fraal calls their technology just like toys and trinkets. Like
That's
this is just a
right.
little taste of the tech that they apparently have, but it's very mysterious, not a lot known about them. So there's the ether cannons, their battle cruisers are like really formidable. So yeah.
Definitely would be like a sweet race to like come into contact with, like
Yeah.
in an RPG, like the Fraal, like these things from legend and like things that only whispers are spoken about, right?
Yeah.
And then you see some terrifying technology.
Yeah, another cool opportunity where later on in the lore they could introduce some new tech and have it find its way into the Imperium
Yeah.
or into Xenos races being able to use it as something even more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean the ability to bypass void shields pretty much puts like a Titan on like the death row.
yeah, it's pretty
and
scary.
battleships and,
And
stuff.
battleships, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the Galg. Green-scaled frog-like creatures.
Perfect.
They are mercenary bands. They sometimes work for the Tau Empire. And they hate the Imperium.
Yeah, I think the Imperium did something to them, probably like exterminated a couple worlds,
Right,
I
yeah.
imagine. So they're kind of hateful of the Imperium now.
Oops.
So again, you want to hire your, bovine cow mercenary,
Yeah.
or you need a little bit more of a frog
It depends
mercenary.
on where you're going.
Yeah, like, are we going to a prairie? Are we going to a swamp? What do I need here?
I like when the names match up with like the idea of them. Like
Totally Galg. Like,
the
I
Galg,
picture
like,
frog.
right? Like it just
A
like
big, like,
Yeah.
bulbous
Throat.
throat
Yeah.
singing coming out there. Just
Yeah.
it's like that's a perfect name for them.
Yeah, it really is. The Galthite.
They are Saurian species, lizard or large reptilian.
Yeah, I had to Google what Saurian was when we were first
Yeah.
doing this. It's dinosaur-like.
Yeah,
well,
essentially.
yeah, which we were talking about, those
Yeah.
ooze dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly, the ectosaurids. But like, I didn't make that connection
Right.
until I had known already that what Saurian was.
Yeah. They're known for creating the Galthite lacerator, a fist-like weapon made to render flesh with ease. Some of them joined the Dragon Warriors warband in assaulting the Salamander's homeworld of Nocturne.
And what's funny is you're talking about like a name that perfectly matches, and this one to me just it doesn't fit. Quite
What do you
the same
picture
way.
with the Galphite?
Well, the Galg frog mercenaries,
Yeah.
But like
Galphite reminds me of, like, a mineral
lizard
or,
man,
like,
it just seems like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that natural. Like oh yeah, that fits perfectly with what I would think.
I agree.
Galphite.
What's interesting about these guys is they joined the Dragoon Warriors warband, which is a Chaos Space Marine warband. You don't see Chaos Space Marines allying often with
aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the
But
Imperium...
you don't even see a lot of aliens
yeah.
joining like chaos.
Well,
stuff.
yeah, and that's the thing. So, like, these guys must be pretty, like, they're okay with chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Is essentially what...
And chaos does some pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because most races in the galaxy, they understand like you need to avoid chaos.
That, or consider this, so, like... races in the galaxy, they can't distinguish between the Imperium and Chaos.
And Chaos.
Chaos Space Marines, they're like, they all suck. They come, they exterminate the planet, now we hate them. We're the Galg. Like, you know, like...
No, that could be an interesting thing. Like it's synonymous for them. It's just death, destruction, and like chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter if it comes in the form of like a gleaming plated Astartes or an Astartes with its belly ripped open, like screaming about Nurgle.
Yeah, either way they're trying to kill you.
It's all
or,
chaos.
Like, yeah, they don't even give you a chance to talk to them. But yeah, it's neat that these guys allied with Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not like the Imperium is taking the time to differentiate with the Xenos races, the different cultures.
They're not handing out their pamphlets.
and who's good and who's evil, and these guys are a little bit better. So yeah, it totally makes sense that the Xenos races wouldn't view humanoid creatures the same way.
Yeah. So the Imperium finds a race, and they're like, oh, that's the Argonauts. Like, the Galg is probably not actually called the Galg. Like, you know, like the Imperium probably doesn't even care what the actual race
It's just
is
the
called.
Imperial classification.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. They don't care.
No, they don't. The Gasulian. They ruled a small empire during the Great Crusade known as the Gasulian subrealms. They lived in fortified bastion cities that proved too much for the mighty Space Wolves.
Yes.
I love this. They literally had to request a specific rhino type to be built in order to like siege break like the fortified cities of the Gasulians. So take that, you Space Wolf suckers.
Yeah, maybe the Space Wolves should probably try tactics.
Yeah. Instead of just like running with claws.
Not even wearing their helmets.
Right.
Like,
Maybe they should follow the code
yeah, just
a little bit more.
yeah, be better.
Maybe they should stop riding wolves.
Probably stop riding wolves would be step one.
Step one, stop riding wolves. Step
That
two,
happen to also be humans.
right.
Because there are no wolves on Fenris.
There are no wolves on Fenris. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, a profit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's it. Just stop riding wolves.
Do we know what type of rhino they requested?
Shoot.
Yeah, it shows it if
Do you have
I'm curious.
the actual one up, Peter?
No.
Well, which of us is going to load it up first? That's the
Yeah,
question
I got it.
here. The Whirlwind Scorpius.
Oh,
That's
yes, I recall that now.
Yeah. It's a huge buster bunker.
yeah, it's,
Bunker buster.
Yeah, it's a barrage ordnance.
Which
type
makes
weapon.
sense because they needed it to destroy the fortified
Yeah,
cities.
so they actually did learn and they stopped just running in close combat. But that means that they first tried to just run into them.
Right, exactly. Like their
Bolt gun,
their first tactic
chainsaw.
was like, "Hey, that's a fortified city. Get them!" You know, like we can jump those walls with our wolves, right?
Space wolves.
Chickens. All right,
The best. They're the best.
the Gnosh
Member of the Tau Empire.
and Mark, what amazingly fulfilling and purposeful role do the Gnosh fill within the greater good?
Everybody needs supplies, right? So
Yes.
this is a very honored position.
Is it?
They are the Tau Empire's cargo haulers. They go from planet to planet, delivering mattresses. They're Amazon.
Space FedEx.
Yeah,
Space FedEx.
honestly, they are used specifically to haul cargo.
That's good.
Pathetic.
Oh.
I'm just
They're alive.
The greater bad, I'm telling you.
Yep. You have a place for
Pointless
it, but you
lives.
better not go out of place. All right. The Greet. Ooh. The Greet is an invertebrate species from an ocean world. They are a member of the greater good with the Tau, and their function was to build floating factories for the Earthcast.
Why would you need a floating factory? I guess if you're
Like
harvesting.
if you're harvesting like something on the water
Yeah.
or in there.
Yeah.
Or if like
Oil underwater.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
or like there's a planet where it's only water.
Yeah.
Right? Like and you're like, well, you might as well use it. Like they can make it habitable for you. Yeah. It's
That's kinda
interesting. Invertebrate. Doesn't that like mean like shrimp like?
They don't have a
Yes.
spine.
Yeah, no spine.
No spine.
Yeah.
So they're like
Oh, so me when talking to my wife.
you're an invertebrate. I didn't even have to make that joke. The Grovian Fiend.
The Claude Fiend, the Grovian Fiend.
Yeah. There's a lot of fiends out there.
A reptilian race known for the skill in bounty hunting. That's cool. So
Yeah, this
maybe
is-
maybe they can like
Camouflage, like I
Yeah,
think like
or-
a chameleon type thing.
yeah, they like have super scent abilities where they can smell something and like they can like trace it across the galaxy, like
Ooh, that'd be a little
Like-
crazy.
or like they can see like the warp. Like this is all speculation, but they can see like a warp presence and like follow the warp trail of like their
Kind
target.
of.
Like
Yeah, because
some-
everything has a mirror, right?
Yeah.
So like they're seeing like the traces of what happened.
Yeah,
Or-
like because they're known for that bounty hunting skill, so they have to have something that actually helps them track their foe.
Right, exactly.
Like-
Yeah. This is one of the ones that would be cool to expand on, even personally.
Yeah.
Right,
This is
like
basically Greedo, right? This is.
Han shot first.
I mean, reptilian race bounty hunter sounds cool until you think of Greedo. and then
Is it
it's not
Greedo
so
or
cool.
is it that dinosaur bounty hunter?
What dinosaur?
Like Greedo's the green-skinned one? that-
Yeah, in the
And then-
cantina.
shoots.
I'll Google a picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but like it's one of those things like if you wanted a reptilian race, like and they're known for their
Yeah.
combat skills.
Do I want the cow mercenary? Do I
Right.
want the frog mercenary? Do I want the reptilian bounty hunter?
Right, exactly.
Just put them all, the
guy.
usual suspects in
pick
a
your
line.
poison.
And
His name is Bosk.
Who's that?
This guy?
right, yeah. The
Oh,
dinosaur kind of looking
Yeah.
bounty hunter. Is he a
Well-
bounty hunter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The next race is the Gaikon.
I got stuck looking at Jango Fett pictures.
Not the first time this has happened. Someone reset him. The Gaikon. Point number 1 I have is they fought the Imperium during the Great Crusade. Point number 2, you do the math.
I assume they lived happily ever after.
Your math is wrong.
Oh.
I don't think it says they were exterminated, but the Great Crusade was pretty successful when it came to exterminating Xenos races. Most likely they are gone.
Yeah.
And other than that, we got nothing else on them.
All right, up next, we got the Harrowing, which is really cool. In M32, there's this artifact, and it's uncovered by this explorator fleet. They don't know what the origin is of this artifact, but they open it up like Pandora's box.
What's it called?
Kind of idea. The artifact? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it called?
The
Something.
Echoing
The-
Vault.
Oh, the Echoing Vault. That's right. Yeah, the Echoing Vault. Right.
Threw him off his game.
Yeah,
They
I was
open
like,
up the Echoing
I was
Vault.
like, when are you going to say the Echoing Vault?
I didn't have that written down in my notes. So they open it up, and then all these xenoforms come flying out, these terrible horrors, and they're named, they called them the Harrowing. And
I wonder if that was like the title of the Xenos or like they called that the period.
yeah, I think it,
Right,
'cause
like
it starts to go really bad because
Right.
these creatures, they violate the laws of physics.
Perfect.
So they don't have to obey those laws.
They have a pass. They have a hall pass.
And they're causing everything around them to just die or go insane. So they are, and this is happening for years. So for several years this goes on, and so the Adeptus Assaris Inquisition, they're all dying and going crazy. There's these other Xenos factions that are also dying and going crazy. And so ultimately, it's said, rumor has it, that an Inquisition faction found out that the only way that you could stop or contain these creatures was they had to fuse archaeotech and sorceress lore.
Perfect.
Seems like a bad
Two things
idea to me.
You don't.
I was
wanna
going
do
to
that?
say 2 things you always have in your back pocket. Just right? Like,
Yeah.
worst comes to worst, I
For the
whip out my
Inquisition,
sorcery.
They're just like, well, we'll just, this time around. So they fuse those things together in order to seal the breach in the echoing vault and stop the harrowing of these crazy creatures. And so the echoing vault was so terrible that once they were able to seal it, they and because they had to use these like heretical means to finally stop it.
Right, yeah, because you're not allowed to use this archaic like technology all the time.
Yeah.
So they just wipe all record of it from any sort of history. So I don't even know how I know about this to share this with you. But yeah, so that would be the harrowing. So again, like a weird kind of name, not just a name that they gave, not a lot of description about what these creatures were, but so powerful that they're just killing and driving things insane and not following the laws of physics, which seems game breaking,
Well, it really does sound like a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Right? Like they crack this thing open, every single bad thing possible starts pouring from it until they're able to seal it up again, right? So
Yeah, I just love the Inquisitors having to use these heretical means to find the solution.
Not the first time an Inquisitor has ever done anything heretical.
I just want to point out that an Inquisitor can't do anything that's heretical.
Right, because they
the very act of them
determine
doing it.
right, they determine what is heretical and what isn't heretical. It's odd, unless another Inquisitor goes to the other Inquisitor and says you're a heretic, because then it might actually be heresy.
But then they just do an arm wrestle, and whoever wins.
Whoever wins was wrong.
It's kind of like a cop pulling over another cop for speeding. And then, right? It's kind of like,
Right.
oh, you're a cop? Oh, it's okay.
Right, like, ooh, what you did wasn't so.
So yeah, hey, that was pretty heretical. Oh, you're an Inquisitor. Oh, sorry, my bad. No, go ahead.
There's actually a really cool Inquisitor. He's pretty an old guy now, but he's actually been charged with heresy like 3 or 4 times. And every time he's charged, like he goes under wraps.
He just has like tenure. They just can't get rid of him.
Cryptman?
Maybe, but he like every time he's charged, like he's in the process of like finding something out, and then by the time like he's done his process or whatever he's doing, like he's like exposed to the real heretic, and while his methods are absolutely heretical, he gets
the job done
hardened every time because of his results. He's actually a really cool Inquisitor, and I can't believe I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
But I can picture him perfectly. Like he walks with a cane.
Eisenhorn.
Yeah, that's the one. Really cool Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Really cool story. Anyways, total heretic. Actually, he's not, but he's
Great guy. Total heretic.
Great guy. Great guy.
Great guy. Total heretic.
Total heretic. Okay, let's talk about the Haru specs. And they are from the Slinarge Rift in the Jericho Reach.
I think I went on vacation there last summer.
Nope. No, you didn't.
Fine. Call me out on my bullshit. Whatever.
That was LA. I get the confusion, but it wasn't.
There's a lot of weird people there, so I just...
There was. And they travel in packs led by a Haru Specs Lifeseeker. Now, are these the whale creatures? Do you remember those?
Not that I'm aware of.
I
think if there was a whale creature,
They're like space
we would
whales.
have mentioned it.
The
in
fact
our
that they're
notes.
whales?
Yes.
Ah, man. I just, for some reason, okay, they're not. Like, the page clearly doesn't say anything about that. Okay. But, so they have, like, a Haru Specs Lifeseeker, which I assume is kind of like a guide to, like, the clan or the species or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like...
No. You're looking at a Tyranid.
But either way, that's one nice looking mouth.
A Tyranid is like a Haru Specs is like a biomorph, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a specific kind of Tyranid. Like I know the picture doesn't do anything. Yeah. But I wonder if it's how like Kroot have like their guiders.
Yeah, like I wonder if this is like a shamanic life seeker or if this is more of the bounty hunting life seeker.
Right, exactly.
Like, I wonder, yeah.
Like, are they led by like a warrior or are they led by a shaman?
Yeah.
And like a life giver.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have a Haruspex Tyrannid, beast creature,
Unrelated.
and also a Xenos race of the same name.
Yes.
The Imperium's not very creative in
No.
naming things.
Like they literally called Tyranids because the first planet they assaulted was Tyrann.
Yeah. So,
So.
yeah.
What? What, Mark?
Oh, nothing. So if another species invaded Tyrann, they would also call them Tyranids.
Tyranids 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay. The Helgramite.
They are a foul anthropoid creature with decayed physical forms.
I like to think that they're like rotting
Yeah.
and like pussing
Very
everywhere.
gurgly feeling.
Yeah.
Warp-infused weapons and biomechanical mounts. That's kind of cool.
It's a disgusting amalgamation is what it makes me think of.
Oh, yeah.
But the coolest part is that they have a protective shield of warp fire known as etheric fire.
Yeah, and it like encompasses their entire planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't even access the planet. Didn't someone penetrate it at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shield
who
was
was it?
The
destroyed.
shield was destroyed,
I
right?
assume by the
The Imperium?
by the Imperium.
Yeah. It was during the Belwrath Crusade, so that's like mid-38.
Yeah, and they had no desire to communicate with humanity, so therefore they're punished to death.
Sounds about right.
They do sound pretty awesome, though.
Yeah.
Occult-infused weaponry, riding into battle on these biomechanical monsters.
You wonder if like they grow like specific creatures and then attach it to it, or they just like take the heart of anything and like shove it in machinery. Like,
Yeah. What is anthropoid?
did we ever look at that? I don't
I
know.
remember we did, but I don't recall.
Yeah, I can't
what.
remember exactly what anthropoid means. Well, here's another one for the.
And also somebody look up creature for me, too.
Okay. Anthropoid is resembling a human being in form. That's right.
Yeah.
We were like, that doesn't make any sense.
Why would they just say humanoid?
Humanoid. Yeah. No, it is a higher primate, especially an ape or ape man, but resembling a human being. Oh, right. No, because remember the example I used was furries? How like like they're dogs and like cats, but they're like personified. Because the example is like a cartoon of an anthropoid frog. So it's like a frog that walks on 2 legs and has like 5 fingers and a mouth that can speak like English, but is still a frog.
Huh.
Right?
Oh,
So
okay.
this could like anthropoid just means it could be anything, but it is like shaped like a
see.
human. It's not humanoid,
see.
it's shaped like one.
Huh.
That's the difference, I think. I think it maybe like a zombie type thing with their decayed forms. Foul
They're
decayed
foul. Yeah.
forms. I don't know. But yeah, they have no desire to communicate with humanity. Which, let's be honest, the smart thing to do is like avoid contact with the humanity. All right.
Hirenian.
Herenian.
The Renian.
Herenian.
I'm pretty sure the H is silent.
They're potentially allies to the greater good. but-
Potentially.
Potentially.
Could
but
be.
They
Haven't
definitely,
made up their minds.
Yeah. They're definitely mercenaries, so
Just
not
dipping
only
their toes in.
do they fight for the greater good, they also fight against it, probably.
Yeah, if the money is good enough.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
That's how I would do it.
Yep.
All right, and last but not least, this is going to be our last species of the night. It was literally like the perfect species to end on. And this is the Hrud.
The best.
The best. Okay.
Best
So
race ever.
it's Renian, but it's Hrud.
Yeah, I don't
It's
make the
not- it's
rules.
not Rud.
I don't make the rules. No. They're also known as the Troglydium hrudi, which would be their High Gothic name.
Yeah, like they're scientific.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Shadow Creepers,
Perfect.
or literally the best name ever to be ascribed to something, the Bendies.
Why do they call them bendies?
Well, okay, they are called bendies, and it's going forward, but like their limbs are like spines.
Yeah.
Like they're fully articulated.
Think of like an octopus almost, but I guess they don't have. Yeah.
No,
but
like-
they go anywhere.
Yeah,
they
like they don't have like we have an elbow that bends one way.
Yeah.
Like theirs is on like a ball joint that literally can spin, and each like segment, it's literally like spines when you
Yeah.
see like a crazy picture of them. Like they can bend any which way. But okay, so
They're called bendies.
they're called bendies because they just bend everywhere. Okay, they are impossible to study as they wear ragged cloaks to cover their body.
That is my favorite point. About
That
these
is the
guys.
reason.
And they've been around for hundreds of years,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
They've been like fighting, and people have been trying to kill these guys, but they don't know what they really look like.
They can't
because of
study
these-
them.
Yeah.
These ragged cloaks they always have. Just put
Mago,
your hood up, and it's like,
Mago biologist is like, hey, can we? What do you look like?
What's
Guy's like,
underneath that cloak there?
Not taking it off. Not doing it.
You can't
Aw.
make me.
just like a trench coat with a hood.
Ragged cloaks. It's not even a nice one. It's just crap.
Yeah. And what happens too when you kill them? And this also contributes to what
The
we
fact
don't
that they
really-
can't be studied. Yeah.
Yeah. Their body disintegrates into a mass of filth. So
Yeah,
they
but-
just like
But that's also their body like regularly. No,
Yeah.
don't they like dissolve?
Yeah,
they
like, they
liquefy.
dissolve.
They
Yeah, like-
liquefy rapidly upon
yeah, like so you can't study them even on death because
Yeah,
they just
exactly.
disintegrate.
But like in life, their
Yeah.
body is a degenerating mass of filth.
Hmm.
Like that's just what they are as a person. Like they are disgusting. What's odd though is that like when as they're describing in Lexicanum, it does specify it's like their body is a mass of filth, but they do have a female gender. It's like someone looked at like the ragged cloak and was like, that one has tits.
Yeah.
That's what they were like.
I see that the bulge.
Right, like we don't know what they look like, but we know there's a female.
Another thing that is crazy about them that keeps us from knowing kind of what they look like, they can generate like blackness around them. So even if they're in like a completely lit room and they're like in a cell and they like can stand in the corner and they create like darkness around them, so that they're
They
Yeah,
create
they-
shadow.
they're just shadow keepers or watchers or
Yeah,
whatever.
well, yeah, they're called shadow
Yeah,
creepers.
creepers.
They are perfectly adapted to life as an opportunistic predator. They can make poisons like within their body themselves, like many. They can secrete a toxin that humans get addicted to, and then they become the Hrud slaves.
Yeah.
Like biological mind control.
Yeah, it's more like a meth addiction. Like it's not like they're actually like physically
yeah,
controlling
like a
them.
drug.
It's more of like, oh, we need some more. Give me that crack. Give me that Hrud
Gotcha.
toxin.
So then the Hrud is like, go get me some chicken dinner and I'll give you this.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Crack.
Yeah, and it will cause withdrawals if the human stops getting it. So
yeah,
it literally,
to the point of death even.
yeah, like it's a chemical dependency in the
Yeah.
body. They can create a biological. So the darkness field that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a biological field called sea mist, and I think that might be like what the Hrud call it. Because
Yeah,
I
who
can't see
knows?
the Imperium calling it that.
That's an odd
Yeah.
mist.
The area that they stand in tends to always be darkened.
Yeah.
And then another interesting thing that they like kind of exude from their body is an entropic field. So everything like ages around the Hrud.
Yeah, and
Like
this is the
decays?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like humans will just like over the course of like their life, they'll take off 50 years of their life.
It'll
But
just
their
slowly
age,
age
like,
them.
Eat it. Wow.
Yeah, like time goes faster around. Well, I don't know if it goes faster around them. It just ages them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
molecular time.
But we
will
don't
go
know if
faster
it's
or
like
not.
the Hrud themselves. Like they might not be even affected by it. It's just something that they
Right.
Yeah.
like.
But it's
No.
such a crazy thing. Like they describe Hrud migrations as being one of the most dangerous things in the entire galaxy. When Hrud reach a certain number
Like a
in their
population?
colony, yeah, they're split off, and half the population will go to another planet, and they call this a migration. But what happens when you get that amount of Hrud in one spot? That entropic
The entropic field.
entropic field is so big that when they pass by planets, it will like age the planet itself and like mess up the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like this dangerous thing because there's no real like defense against it. Like even if you go to like
You
try
have to destroy them.
but
in
even
order-
that, like everyone who goes there ages 50 years.
Right,
And like your
exactly.
ships will fall apart and like rust and like it's super dangerous.
Yeah. They They live in tunnel cities or junlaks, and they are junky scavengers. They collect all types of filthy, junky goodness
Yeah.
to a Hrud.
Yeah. So these guys and those guys that collect bone and plant would get along well.
The Anulians.
Yeah, they could just trade junk back and forth to each other.
Like, ooh, that's shiny.
You got that? That's a nice used tissue paper you got there. I'll trade you this half-used shoelace.
Yeah, it'd be odd to watch one of their bargaining sessions. Yeah. They do have a religion.
Yeah.
The Hrud religion. And it talks about, and this was actually probably one of the most interesting things about the Hrud. So it talks about an ancient war between their creators, who they call the most ancient, and the enemies that destroyed them, or the mirror devils, that their god changed them from. Okay, so sorry. So the thing about the Hrud is that in their religion, they weren't always Hrud. They were some other creature, and that their god changed them from this, actually is described as like a really like beautiful, gracious creature, into the Hrud to save them from like the coming like destruction of that species.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like from whatever they were previously, their religion says that their god changed them into the Hrud as they were now in order to allow them to survive.
Yeah. So this is not canon, this part.
Pure speculation.
You can assume that the old ones are the ancient ones.
Yeah, the most ancient.
The most ancient.
Right? Because a lot of everything was actually created by the most ancient.
And then the mirrored ones, or the mirrored devils, you can kind of think like...
The Satan.
The Satan, like the necrodermis is shiny, so like they see the reflection in them, so they call them like the mirror devils.
Right.
And they got changed, like maybe the Satan tried to feed on them, but then in order to stop the Satan from feeding on the Hrud, they change them into this gross, deformed life form where it's like the Satan no longer want to feast on their soul.
Yeah, because if they are around the Hrud, they'll start to age and like feel the effects of time potentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? The interesting thing is when you actually read the religious portion in the Lexicanum, there are many similarities to draw between the Eldar mythos.
Yeah.
And like their pantheon and the Hrud religion.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
So and again, not canon, but maybe, no, just kidding, it's not. But potentially, like, the Hrud were Eldar at some point.
Hey, maybe, yeah.
Right? Like, maybe that's what they got transformed from into the Hrud, because there was, like, a pantheon god or something that saw the forecoming doom and changed them. Or even one of the old ones, back when they were there, they changed part of the Eldar into this. So it's really cool, the fact that they actually have, like, a decently fleshed out religion to talk about in this race that is like disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? But the religion is like very set.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the last thing that I want to talk about them is that they use a lot of warp or plasma based technology, and it can actually be modified to accept like human power cells. So like you could get like a Hrud weapon, modify it, fit a human cell in there, but then like it does say after that, like it'll break like really soon.
Just wipe off all the toxin first before you put your hand on that.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, they're crazy.
No, the Hrud are like one of the cooler races.
Just imagine like just being around them and you can like see yourself aging. And you're also addicted to them, so you have to be around them more.
Right, exactly. Like a flower just like dies like as they walk by.
Yeah.
And you can never really see them fully because they're fully encased in shadow all the time.
When they walk into like a nice clean room and they leave, it's now like starting to rust and decay. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, they're a good enemy because they take human slaves.
Yeah.
You know, like they're disgusting. They destroy everything. Like,
and you cannot live beside them peacefully.
Right.
Like,
you
can't do it. Like, even if you try,
they could live peacefully, but you can't.
Yeah, like it's bad for you, even if you wanted to live next to them. So it's just like, it is a good enemy.
Yeah. It's easier to justify killing them than some of the other, like, this is an aquatic alien, we must kill it.
Yeah.
Would the Tyranid go after this species?
Biomass? Yes.
Yeah, I would assume it
Even
would.
if it killed the, like if the cost was greater than what you get out of biomass?
That's an interesting thought with Tyranids.
Yeah.
Because part of it, like, that's been a question for me is like, do they leave enemies? And the reality is they do, right? But in the end, like the Tyranid end game is more like, oh, we just don't have like what it is right now to take care of this enemy, so we'll come back.
Yeah.
Right? Like at some point they want to destroy the entire thing. So
Kind of sounds like the Imperium. Some similarities there.
no.
But yeah, I'd say that the Nids would fight him because like the big thing is that whole like the time dilation or whatever doesn't really matter to a Nid life. Where
and like a Nid
But
could
it would just eat up your like soldier,
resources.
yeah,
but
a
like
lot faster.
the time dilation isn't like it's not like
Instant.
It's crazy, but it's not like instant. Like
yeah. No, I know.
And another thing
yeah.
is a Tyranid could probably like grow because it grows units not to live long,
exactly
just
so
to cause devastation. So they
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
And like an interesting thing that we were reading about after we did our Tyranid episode is that they even have like organs that function separately from the unit they're inside.
yeah.
Right? So like you function with all of your organs and you are one thing. But a Tyranid is actually potentially comprised of like 6 or 7 things which together like offer the higher function to the unit as a whole.
Yeah.
So you could create like specific things within it to prolong its life potentially, right? Like, or you could say like this like heart is gonna last for 300 years because of all the special things I put in it. So they would have some way to get around it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got no more.
That's a lot, and
It was a lot of info.
We still have 2 more episodes that are going to be like this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Minor Xenos,
So
and like
many.
there's just so many cool ones that I just love to interact with in an RPG.
for sure. And doing this makes me want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? It makes me want to interact with everything.
There's just so much story out there besides, oh, the Eldar are trying to do this now. Like,
yeah. And the Imperium is killing everyone again.
That always happens.
That's actually a pretty common.
yeah, that happens. But
All right. I guess since we're done this, let's get straight into our Tales from the War.
are we still calling it that?
Why not?
Oh. For fun.
I don't know. So just a couple questions then for this part. I guess since we just went over like almost like 50 races.
Wow.
What one was your favorite? So Mark, tell me what one was your favorite race.
So I have 2 favorite in this section. It just happens to work out. But how can you have 2 favorites, Mark? Only
Well,
favorite means one is your favorite.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll pick my top 10 favorite then.
Oh my gosh. Give us your 2.
Okay, so Harad, I love the Harad. They're so sweet. Like, I think all of us are gonna say we love the Harad. It's like when we were talking about, oh, what's your favorite Chaos God? Everyone's like, Malal.
Yeah,
Like it's just
exactly.
like they're so sweet.
Yeah.
But the one that I really like, and I hope that Games Workshop would actually do something with, is the Demiurge. It just, to have Space Dwarfs in like 40K, like it's an instant market that you know you're going to make profit off of. Like dwarf players are everywhere. Like you don't have to do much in order to make profit off a dwarf army, you know? There's already a fan base for it.
Right.
So I like the Demiurge, and what I do is I use Mantic Games. They have a Forge Fathers model line, and they're like space dwarves, like super heavily armored, bulky looking. And I use these guys as like models for when I want to play as my Demiurge. And then the rules I just use is like Space Marine Terminators, where they're big, slow, heavily armored. And yeah, I like the Demiurge the most, I think, out of these ones that we mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, you literally have the models on your shelf,
Yeah.
and you've named them the Demiurge, so
Yeah.
it was pretty obvious that
Like,
that's what you're going
it
to say.
just, yeah, I like them. They're space dwarfs.
Dwarf.
We need some dwarfs.
Yeah.
Filthy dwarfs.
Peter.
For me, I'm going to go with the harrowing. I think just
Yeah.
it's so over the top, so crazy.
Laws of physics?
Yeah,
Nah.
exactly. Just throw it out the window. So I love that they had to go to these crazy great lengths to seal it back up and kind of stop it. So that's definitely, I would say, my favorite.
Favorite lore part for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
If you could choose, like, if you were interested in tabletop and you wanted to see a model of something, or if you wanted them to actually do something on that line, do you have one that you would like to see more of?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
I'll let Eric or Jordan answer their favorite. And
Okay.
Yeah.
I I think probably the Hrud was my favorite too.
Right?
Yeah.
The frickin' bendies, man.
Bendy, filthy bendies.
Filthy bendies.
And not just that, like even the lore aspects to it are kind of interesting.
Yeah, because you were talking about the Eldar, how you liked that.
Yeah.
They have this whole rich backstory. And
Yeah,
the Hrud have that too to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. Like for a Xenos race, they have a lot.
Yeah, they probably have one of the most.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think like next to them was actually, I don't know if they're my favorite. I just found them the most interesting was the Drahendra.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Only because like a lot of the other Xenos races on this, like a lot of them you can like pick them out almost a similar kind of alien in other sci-fi universes, right?
Yeah, this is a bug-like one.
Yeah, exactly, like a lizard and a bug
Yeah.
and all that kind of like
This one's
aquatic.
anthropoid.
Yeah. But the Drahendra were just like seem to be like a really I've never read anything quite like that.
Just to clarify, because it was a lot, the Drahendra are the dust ones.
Yeah.
That have
The dust balloons.
Yeah, they have the membranous skin on them.
and they like live on gas giants.
Yeah, on the dying stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
So I just thought I don't know if they're my favorite. I just
It's
thought
just
they were
such a different thing, like you said, yeah.
So
That's I agree. I really like the Drahendra too. Obviously, my favorite is the Hrud, and it always will be. It's just a huge standing joke to just everyone's just like, you filthy Hrud.
Yeah.
Like whenever like when I want to really insult Mark, that's what I'll call him.
Aw.
The aside from the Hrud though, the Agarian. So
remind
the
me.
long extinct race, they had the Cyclopean Macides.
Okay.
And so what I thought was really cool about them is the power that they had from the Uvath,
Yeah.
that doomed them to extinction. So that would be, I'd be way more curious to find out, like, what exactly was
Yeah.
that power? Like, was it a deal that they were given? Was it forced on them?
Yeah.
Or did they, like, find some secret Uvath thing that they, like, kind of stole, but it wasn't for them? And, like, I think that would be a cool thing to, like, learn more about.
Yeah, because that's a huge question.
Yeah, and then it
could have
leaves their civilization in just a ruin,
Yeah.
right? Like completely deserted things.
Yeah.
Like it was a cataclysm, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it just sends my my
Your mind
imagination
racing with like possibilities of
Exactly.
what would you trade?
exactly. Like
Yeah.
what would it have to be for me to like if I knew I was making the deal,
Yeah.
like what would I have to give? What would it have to be for me to give up my
Yeah.
ability to like go on? Or if it wasn't a deal, how did I feel as I slowly realized that I had doomed my species to
Yeah.
extinction by doing this? Or, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of, think of
it's
Cesareth, the Necron King.
Yeah.
When he realizes what happened with him, he
Yeah.
had a way to reverse it.
Yeah.
At least.
Or
Like,
semi-
partially.
Yeah, I know what
right?
you're saying. But these guys know.
Exactly, they're gone now.
Yeah.
So for me, that's pretty sweet.
I think if I was to have to pick a race to try and put an army together with, I'd probably go with the Arakan. 'Cause they'd have some cool gameplay mechanics. You've got the Ostro Mystics.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
These are the spider kind of guys. So they
Yeah,
can
the grandfathers.
Yeah, and they can. You've got guys who can lay
skitterlings.
traps and put eggs inside of guys that they catch. You got the grandfathers that are big and moving around. You got the skitterlings that are getting up inside of armor and attacking, eating guys from the inside. There'd be some cool things that you could do with an army of those.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a different take on the bug.
Yeah, because right now
as
they just
opposed-
have the Tyranid bug version.
Yeah,
right?
which is more of
Sweeping tide,
sure.
right? I don't know. I just like the Arakan just seem to have a little more long-sightedness, right? Like the Tyranid is just absorb biomass, leave the planet by. Whereas the Arakan, they have cities and they want to actually
ships, I think.
prosper.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they have the cocoon ships, but they want to build something beyond destruction.
Yeah.
Which to me would lead a difference in a Tyranid wants to destroy everything.
Sure.
Whereas a Rakan, not necessarily. So
Yeah.
I could see that being different in their story.
Yeah, and even just the way their models would look would
Yeah,
be different.
exactly.
They don't have to have exoskeleton.
Right, they would have
or
to
chitin, but
Yeah, exactly. Because a Tyranid's entire purpose is to destroy. So
Yeah.
everything that they are goes into that. Whereas a Rakan also lives and builds, because they have cities,
Sure.
right? So they have to
Yeah.
be able to perform those secondary functions. So I think it's cool.
So is there one of these races that you would love to see, like the lore expanded on, where Eric, you kind of answered that a little bit, but for Mark or Jordan, like where you'd love to find out more information about this specific race?
Any
Sure.
of them. Specifically,
Yeah, there's got to be one that piques your interest.
okay, let
though,
me
right?
let me. Just
I'll give you a
read all
second
this.
to look over them because
Yeah.
I've
What
got
about
an
you,
answer ready baked. For me, it's the Frawl.
No, you can't pick the Frawl.
Because they're the best.
That
I want to
was
know
my-
more about that ether
That
technology.
was my answer for what model do I want to see.
Oh, really?
I want to see them in gameplay, like a
Sure.
pirate nomad race with like these crazy like dagger techs and their ether and ability to like ignore
The
void
glass
shields.
knives.
Yeah,
to be able to use once you get into
yeah.
close
I want to see
combat.
that on tabletop. The Frawl.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want to know more. Like it feels like it's just a little tease, right? Just that line about toys and trinkets. That's all the
Right.
technology that's out there now. Just
Pick the
there could be
Chuffians then.
so much
Pick the
more.
Chuffian
Yeah, I was looking
Powerball.
But yeah, there's a nice tease there.
Yeah.
Where I'd love to see more
Nice.
of what the Frawl have.
Jordan.
I think, like for me, almost any of the extinct races, I would like to
Sure.
hear more about. But I mean, I guess I sort of wonder if Games Workshop just wrote them in there just as almost like to add like a gut punch to like how bad the Imperium
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like
You
they're
can
not
tell.
really there for their own sake. They're just written in.
Yeah.
to-
Any of the extinct ones, like that's all we'll ever know about
yeah,
them,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
So your curiosity is kind of will never be satisfied.
right.
But
Yeah, that's very true.
like I think like the ones you were talking about, the Agarians
Yes.
would be interesting to know more about.
yes.
And the Hrud.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I guess the Grovonian Fiend. They're a reptilian race known for their bounty hunting skills. Like,
Oh, that's the one where we said like it would be decently easy to like build your own story about them
Yeah,
and
like,
even put them on the table.
yeah, and like just why are they such good bounty hunters? Are they using some type of warp tracking, or I don't know.
Yeah, like sensory inputs.
Yeah, like
or-
I could just imagine making an RPG character playing as one.
Yeah,
Being killed
exactly.
instantly because I come in contact with the Imperium.
Right.
But my backstory would be
Would be
very
so
well
fleshed
developed,
out.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, any more questions we've got for each other?
Demiurge.
Tim, you can't just say space dwarfs and expect me to have a conversation with you.
I just want space dwarfs.
I know you do.
It's weird. I'm not even a dwarf guy, but I like dwarves.
No,
so-
you're definitely
Oh,
a
I'm a
dwarf guy.
dwarf.
Okay.
Dwarf.
Well, obviously, like we have a couple more episodes of this. There's a lot to go through. You'll hear a little more from us about that. It's
been interesting, though.
Yeah, no, it's been
Lots
really
of
cool
new
just for
material.
us. Yeah. Always, we're on Facebook. You just search Lorehammer. We're on Twitter, Lorehammer40K. You can just email us, lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com. We're looking at shaking some things up in the new year. So give us your insight, your corrections, give us your suggestions.
Give us your favorite Xenos race.
Yeah, tell us your favorite Xenos race for sure. Like I'll post something on Facebook or something when this goes live. Who knows?
You say this all the time, but you never do.
That's not true. Sometimes I do. But yeah, let's. Anyways, I guess. Thanks for listening.
Uh-huh. We love it.
Bye bye.